squidding pool.
Take this for your adventure.
for some more fundamental streaming science as we completely change our setup and our microphones for what's got to be the 70. Well, it's the first time we've totally overhauled everything. But what's got to be the 79 cajillionth time we've just gone through changing things in general. Welcome, everybody. Here we go, dying again. Sounds appropriate, Hoyland. So, this, speaking of sounding inappropriate, should sound different, seeing as you can immediately see via the cameras that we have completely different microphones now. We no longer have everybody physically tied to the table by these little clip-on mics.
I can go over here and relax.
You probably shouldn't, but you
know.
can. But it will pick you up from that distance, technically. But that's kind of, again, what we're sciencing out. Thanks again to Jake the Impaler last week, who we put a donation goal up and he immediately just bombed it without any hesitation whatsoever before I had finished introing to look over and see that it had been bombed.
He's banned now, right? for leaving the penny? He's banned now, right?
No.
Oh.
He is here to leave however many more pennies he wishes. We
He's
don't have a
about
tip. We don't have a tip goal
microphones.
right now, though. We don't currently need a tip goal because we
Make a tip goal
have
to give
nothing.
Jake his pennies.
tip goal 2. What we do have instead is some of you who have been around on the not Pathfinder streams, which I imagine is most of you, because you that are here at the moment are those who watch the not Pathfinder streams, but also come watch the Pathfinder streams, because this is new and we don't have any kind of another audience yet, are aware of the bit cup and the amount of, general not working that the bit cup does. Just kind of
Passively, yeah.
full stop. It's sort of a pile of trash, and I gave up on it and deleted it off of everything. So very briefly, a while back, we did try an alternative, which was the bit bus, because I really like the concept of bit visualizers, and the cup is awesome, but it sucks ass. But for Pathfinder streams specifically, this little thingy, which to make would be straight down there in the corner from my camera, I feel like is more fitting. While we're going on adventures, doing our thing, having our various battles, dying our various deaths, you guys can have your own fight to get your name that just kind of permanently hangs on the stream for whoever is currently the leader. It's the thing you probably, if you watch any other streams, it's relatively common. I threw Halode on there to start with, so whoever deals with Halode first. And it's not just bits, it also takes resubs as well. Any sub or resub will be just like sharing 500 bits, just like the total value, but I do not think it is integrated with direct tips. I don't think that works. That's why it's at half health already, because Sage Lightspeed resub before I started the whole stream, but it was still up, so that's why he's at half. Beyond that, I got the recent sub thing working again, because I'm awesome. That only took me like 3 months of reinstalling stream labels and going through and rejiggering everything, but that works again, so it doesn't just permanently say Hexywoo anymore. And I can put it back on the screen because it functions. Stuff that I was doing this morning. I did so many things this morning. I fixed so many various problems.
Including walking away with the bratwurst and leaving the plate that I had it on and just walking away.
Well, I'm not going to eat the plate.
Yeah, but
he
you were
has
just
a
walking
point.
around with the bratwurst.
Just walking around.
Do I
with
need
his
more
big
than that?
sausage hanging out.
Yeah.
So tell me how voluminous the new microphones, because again, I kind of have to...
I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, we can't really hear.
I kind of have to relearn all of this and figure out how it needs to be tuned volume-wise. The noise issue is almost entirely eradicated, so I can turn it up a lot higher than this, but the goal is not to boost it as much as physically possible. The goal is to boost it to a reasonable volume. And so disorienting the player cam is the moment behind the GM cam. Well, you guys entertain chat while I figure out that problem, because that shouldn't be happening.
All right.
Oh,
So
okay.
who wants to hear a fun story? Because I don't have one prepared.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Take it away.
Oh, me take it away. Okay, this is spectacular. So
Little bunny Fufu is stuck in a place, and on a plane, and she cannot be here again this week.
that
Oh,
is
I'm sorry.
true. That is true. So we are going to try to remote gen in. But unfortunately, or possibly fortunately, because all things have two sides to them, her flight got moved. So unfortunately, she cannot remote in because she's going to be flying. But on the bright side, she doesn't get in at 12:30 in the morning. So this
That
is a
is
good
pretty
thing.
nice.
She will not be
That is a
dead
good
to the
thing.
world tomorrow. So very happy about that. I unfortunately forgot Digit the bunny, who was parked on top of the
Okay.
chair. But
Oh yeah, the placeholder.
Yeah.
Red money placeholder. So
I mean, we have a hedgehog. It just won't really like
Perch
sit on
well.
top of it. Yeah.
yeah.
there is absolutely no difference between any settings on any of the inputs in OBS from any of the 3 cameras, and they're all completely identical cameras hooked up in exactly the same way. So if I could actually probably test this very easily. There is a delay.
Yeah,
Yes,
look
there
at
is.
that. Look at that.
Alright,
There,
well,
my wife said something about it when she looked at the stream.
Interesting.
So
Eh.
that
I mean,
some
that-
seem to be running at 30 FPS, whereas others run at
that's what
60.
yeah, it seems like it's an FPS.
Well, that one also has a very long USB cord going to it and 2
But
USB
it's
extenders.
faster. It's the other 2 that are
Yes.
slower.
Oh, the
Yeah,
other
those
2
two
are
are-
slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Running at the
I'd
speed
be
of
checking.
electrons. So.
Oh, I guess I do have a story for everyone. I've been getting up at 5 a.m. every day to go down to Tampa, Florida, because Spectrum is training me there, which
They're just training you to like have some endurance. They're training you like
their training consists of telling me the things I already know, to use the tools that I am already familiar with, and to get certified for a ladder that I've been using for 4 years.
Certified for
Yeah.
a ladder?
Yes.
I have no idea how to
Yes.
fix this, and I this is going to be several hours of fixing the cameras, so I will fix that later. No idea what is causing that, and no idea where to even begin troubleshooting. But I'm pretty sure it is an issue that for some reason is in the settings of the cameras themselves.
Step 1 is always blood sacrifice.
Again, because they are identically set up in OBS. And it is pretty clear that it's my camera is 60 FPS and no delay, and the other cameras are all 30 FPS and some delay, and I'm not really sure where I toggled the be shit setting on 2
Well-
out of 3 cameras, or I toggled the don't be shit setting on 1 of the cameras.
well, we could just before next time we could just
Yeah,
restart them
we'll
and
worry
reset
about it
them.
in the next stream.
yeah, that's what I mean. We'll figure it out next stream, because I have no fucking idea how to
Whoever's
fix
actively
this.
taking their turn just comes and sits in your lap. How's that?
So-
That'll work out just fine.
Ideally, next week we will have Jen back.
Yes.
Probably.
In all likelihood, unless something terrible happens and I don't
Question
know about
mark.
it.
But for now, have your session hero points,
Well,
friends, and then I don't believe anyone still had
We used everything.
an extra point. Yeah, everything kind of got blown on the
Desperation.
blueberry bushes of ultimate super death,
Yes.
which, well, they were just generally problematic. Which brings me around to we're back in Etrin's Folly, and let's get caught back up. So, in our adventure so far, the group of you have come on this caravan to Etrin's Folly. Your caravan master was murdered, and since you were stuck here on suspicion, you had to track down and equally murder Halode, the man responsible for his poisoning.
He did not come quietly.
He did not at all
did
come
not.
quietly, no. And in the aftermath of that,
We barely killed him.
you realize that Halode wasn't. I really see.
I was
you
just
are
saying
gonna
that
do
to him.
Yeah, but that's not how streaming works. But
I wasn't
You,
trying to interrupt you, is what I was saying.
in the aftermath of that, we realized that Halode was not the end of this. Finnick, a helpful goblin in town, had technically delivered the poison because Halode made him, because somebody else gave the poison to him and ordered Bort's death. And this rabbit hole goes significantly deeper than we may have originally hoped / wanted. The sheriff in town is
Busy.
he though?
Yes.
Well,
he-
day drinking takes
day
a lot of
drink-
time.
It did a lot. Big investment.
Semi-inept.
See, that's more accurate. I feel like that's more of a
He's a little pickled.
Yeah.
he's he tries his best, maybe, but his best isn't very good.
Mm.
So it's kind of up to you guys to figure out what has actually happened to Bort, how this came to be, who is leading this whole thing. But you got no real leads other than literally one letter. And I don't mean like a letter that you mail, I mean a letter of the alphabet, which doesn't give you anything to go off of. Meanwhile,
It gives us a little more than nothing.
only technically. Meanwhile, an elven ranger named Nawala came into town with a pack of very distressed and mutated wolves that you'd fought that had attacked the caravan on the way in, searching for help to deal with the source of whatever these corrupted creatures was, which she called blights, out in the nearby forest. You traveled out to one of those blights, and in what has become a recurring meme for the Plaguestone adventures so far, Elrith went down. But
Well, it was a blight, and they were bushes, and he went down to
he fought
bleed.
bloodlash
so-
bushes
Bloodlash
in a blight
bushes.
and died to bleed death.
Yeah.
So
The letter B.
That was
Everything
fairly-
was a setup for the
Yeah.
Quad B fiasco.
it was just too many bees
They just were.
for Elwraith to handle.
Yep.
No, it wasn't too many bees. He handled too many bees. It was
More like I ran away
exactly
from too many bees.
4 bees.
So
He's allergic to bees.
he did finally end up perishing. The rest of you went back into town, buried him and Bort, and well, that's kind of where we left. As far as main event progression is gone, the only leads you have are this incredibly dangerous blight out in the forest that Noala has directly told you is the smallest and newest of the blights. And even that she couldn't get into herself at all. And the group of you, well, you got into it. You did get that far. Surviving, not so much, but you did get at least into the thing.
Oh.
And well, I mean, that's kind of it. So in the aftermath of the funeral, the brief ceremony that you had with Bord and Elrith, you had
Which was at nighttime, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
you had re-met Sirlar and Krent, very drunk, very confused,
Yep.
very oddly on the mark with Marn somehow. And after he finally left off, in the morning you've really got nothing to go off of for anything other than if you can pull together a way to help Nawala and dealing with sending Elrit's things on or back to Kiona where he came from. You've got a letter, but that letter is wholly in Elven, which you guys definitely don't speak. Dwarf, half-orc, and soldier.
We just communicate in grunts, you know. us
Yeah, you
players.
gotta have your own. though. It's a language unto itself, I suppose.
Chin nods, eyebrows, silent, stoic communication.
Smacks to the back of the head.
Yep. Only for those that we truly care for.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what is the
Well, it's the next day,
how
I
we
think.
proceed? Yeah, it would be the next day because it was the next morning even.
Yeah, and Kren
You
was
would
so
say.
reasonably sobered up, and
Some degree, very gone from very drunk to very hungover,
yeah,
which is
Better?
yeah
Somewhat.
better. Question mark?
he has once again failed at pickling himself to death.
But
and
not for lack of trying.
not for lack of trying, and he seemed disappointed but not surprised by the results. But it didn't stop him from wanting to try again.
But what is it that the party is going to do today? What are our plans now? This
Well-
blight didn't go great.
I believe we still need to go check out what's inside the tree and either deal with it or burn it down. Which does mean going back to talk to the ranger lady.
Yeah, and maybe she can make heads or tails of Elrith's letter here, and we can figure out what to do with his possessions.
There was a massive, twisted and sickly tree at the heart of the blight that you weren't able to get into because the actual shrubbery outside it proved to be very surprisingly formidable. Incredibly dangerous plants. But that sounds like a start.
I feel like we should look through Eller's things and maybe send what we can back to wherever he came from.
Oh. Did he ever tell you where he came from?
Maybe that's in his stuff. Maybe he has a return tag.
For all we know, it's in the letter. Let's just take it and get this over with.
Let's just take all of his things and just bring it with us.
So you
Are
gather
you sure
up.
that's like
So to
5 or 6
Noella, because
worth
she's
of bulk?
That's a pretty good amount of.
That's fairly
I can
inconvenient.
carry it.
So, all right, you don't forget I have tools and everything in the caravan as well too. So.
Well, obviously, we're not taking the tools.
Okay, good.
No one gives a shit about your tools.
They were very meaningful.
Well, that depends. What tools did you have?
Crafting tools for woodworking.
Definitely not healer's tools.
Not that.
Yeah.
No, the healer's tools he took.
We'll
I
leave,
have
we'll
healer's
leave the
tools.
rasp, we'll leave the hammer set and the chisels and the saws and all that. We'll leave it all there.
Those don't seem like they're going to be terribly helpful or,
Yeah.
meaningful. They were just sort
That'd
of.
probably be more helpful to leave with the
Yeah,
caravan.
I mean, maybe you want to return those to Bort's caravan, I guess, so doesn't charge your next of kin for them. But who knows?
Yeah. I mean, far enough, he could have clearly diplomacied them away from their rightful owner. So
He was
Diplomacy of hand.
quite a skilled diplomat, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Dealt with
head,
people, not with wildlife.
we're going to head out to the forest clearing
Yes.
and make our way over to meet with Nawala once more. And as per usual, it doesn't really seem like she has a ton going on necessarily. Every time you've headed out into the clearing, at least relatively early in the morning, she's usually there. And this morning is no exception.
very simple life.
Most people in Entrance Folly live very simple lives,
That's
and
true.
Nawala exceptionally so.
Yeah.
Only tangentially related to the rest of the folk.
She probably eats better than they do.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is, I'm sure, significantly less turnips than everyone else. But as you approach, she notices you. Her fire from the nights mere just embers in the bottom of the pit that she's not gone through the effort of dousing entirely. But she seems to be making preparations and packing for something. But she gives a brief wave.
Good morning.
Hopefully, a lucky one too.
Hopefully. I'm wondering if you could help us. Our friend, he left a few of his personal effects as well as a letter, but none of us can read it. Could you translate for us?
If you would like me to, yes, I can.
Please.
Is this a personal matter? I didn't know him very well.
It's in Elven.
Ah, I understand. Of course, I will. When she takes the paper or the letters and just kind of looking through it, and it's pretty lengthy. It's not a brief thing. It's a couple of pages that he's written up, and she starts reading through it, and well, it looks more or less like he intended to send this back to his family. It's akin to a journal, talking about his time with the caravan, and she stops and continues reading through it, seemingly much more interested all of a sudden.
Oh boy. What did he do?
So she went from translating to now she's just
Now she's just reading silently. She's not.
Yeah.
She's like pretty intently, silently reading through this journal and flipping to the next page and still just looking through it and flipping. And she's.
Oh yeah,
she's-
she would be dumbfounded. So
Yeah, she's very very interested now in the content here. And she gets.
I'll lean over to Martin. You don't think he wrote anything about her, do you?
I'm beginning to wonder.
And she gets to the back. She flips the last page over like she's looking for something else, and shakes her head almost in disbelief, and turns back to Martin. It seems he knew about these blights, or at least something much like them.
Huh?
Well, according to this, it started out with him just talking to his family about joining the caravan and his purpose or whatever, the diplomacy, whatever it was you said that he did. But reading through this, he talks about the wolves and the forest and our contact, he knew about these blights. And apparently they've spread as far as his homeland of Keonin.
He never said anything about them.
He didn't exactly tell us a whole lot.
And she's looking through it all again.
I just assumed it was because he was shifty, but...
But it's why he was here. It wasn't for the caravan. That was simply to get him to Etrin's Folly, to the area where these blights have started appearing. He came here for this.
Huh.
Did he have a locket on his person?
Well, I have his personal effects. I'll rummage through them.
And as you look through, you would have had a small locket that you have taken off him. That was a golden, almost like a miniature head that you would mount like a trophy. A small, where's the description?
Like of an animal?
Yeah, like some sort of like massive horned beast, like almost with curling ram horns, but a lizard-like face.
Oh.
It's not immediately like any creature that you recognize, but as lockets are wont to do, it does open, and inside of it, there is a tiny note wrapped around the back side of the gem sent in the center of the thing, and right in the center with what would be this beast's forehead. And this is written in common.
Okay.
And it says, "In dire need, a carpenter needs no scythe." And Noala at this point is very much like leaning over trying to see what is coming out of this tiny locket.
In dire need, a carpenter needs no scythe.
And as you say it out loud, the jewel in the center of the locket starts to change colors, almost immediately going from a dark blue to a much clearer green.
What did you do?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, it started green and turned to the blue. I said that backwards, my bad.
It's okay.
And Noella's just looking at this. Indeed. What in the God's name says this?
I don't know.
Did you activate it?
All I said, whatever's on this note here, like a carpenter needs no scythe, that's just what was on here, and it turned green now.
Can I attempt
To knock everything over telepathically? Yes, you can.
Mage hand. Can I attempt to identify this?
You have detect magic?
No.
Then no.
I could detect magic
Yeah,
on
detecting,
this.
identifying medical items still does require you to have detect magic. This setting my phone up so I can see chat thing may not work out super fantastic.
Or
We
we
just
could
need to
get
get a
phone
little
stand.
stand.
Yeah, I need to get a little, it has a stand built into the case, but only if you put it sideways. I don't have, an upright stand. Optimistic Weasel, thank you for the 35 months, though. Half the reason I have this right here, I can actually see that. Newest member joining the party, which is a variation on the Sinear Squidling that's more appropriate for Pathfinder.
There you go.
Anyway. But no, without detect magic, you couldn't attempt to divine exactly what this thing is. That is still a requisite component, but you could, if you wanted to try. But it's going to take you 10 minutes, because
I mean, it did seem awfully suspicious.
yeah,
so-
identifying an item is no longer fast. This takes a decent amount of time. So if you want to spend 10 minutes trying to use your religion to weave exactly what this thing does, you can absolutely do that.
Why would a carpenter ever need a scythe?
That is a 12.
So you take the Martin hands the locket over to you, and you start casting your own magic and trying to figure out what in the hell is going on here, because it's clearly
Scythe's a farming implement, right?
something.
I think so. Or death does not also represent.
And as you cast detect magic, you start weaving through this thing's auras. It has a moderate aura of conjuration on it as you start to cast. But also a small abjuration wording as well. And you start trying to peel through this and seeing exactly what it does. And after maybe 3 or 4 minutes, the gem changes color again, turning a bright, opaque yellow.
It did it again. It did it again.
I think we should.
I didn't say anything this time.
Neither did I.
You might
Yeah,
want
you
to
would-
put it down and leave it alone.
You would this would be like halfway through your investigation. You haven't done anything. Like, you didn't say anything.
I
You're
did
just.
poke it with magic.
I mean, you
so
cast
maybe
detect
it
magic on it, but
maybe
you did that like
disliked
minutes
it.
ago, and you're just kind of going
Well,
through
maybe it has slow reactions.
So there's a pit in the middle, right?
it. There's a fire pit in the center of the
Okay. Just saying, it might be a good idea just in case. I don't know.
And
I know where he diplomacy this out of.
Noala kind of winces. Well, do you think it was something of him? The letter seems to imply this was given to him by his family, something he'd brought with him
Oh, okay.
intentionally to seek these blights. It's not something he picked up on the road. It was very important to him, whatever it is.
This locket that's changing colors right now. It's a little ominous, is all I'm saying. I just wanted to make sure he didn't, no, I'm sure he didn't pick it up off the road, but he might have, picked it up out of someone else's pocket or something.
No, I don't know where his family would have acquired it. They didn't detail the history of the thing.
Maybe someone else's pocket, I don't know.
But I'm not familiar with magic. This is the opposite of what I know.
Okay.
I know nature, the wilds, a little even of the gods. Magic is completely beyond me.
Well, I'm going to put this at a safe distance until it stops changing colors.
It'd be very small anyway.
Yeah, it's
So
like it's a little. It's like the gemstone from a locket. Like it's really tiny. It's like maybe a
Anything
fingernail
that
at
changes
biggest.
colors by itself is always suspicious.
You see mood ring, you're like,
Well, what
basically.
what sorcery is this?
What
So-
do you
well-
recommend? You're a cleric, right? You know of magic. You cast your own trying to. What does it do?
Well, I feel like we should put it on this rock over here and stand at a distance until it stops changing colors.
I suppose that's the professional opinion.
How long will that take?
Until it
Let's
stops
go do
changing colors.
something else, and we'll find out later.
So let's go to the other side of the clearing and let's talk about what was in the journal, because I'm kind of confused.
And she'll Adelpha puts the locket on the ground
On a rock.
on a rock, and just kind of backs away from it a couple steps slowly before everyone goes to the other side of the clearing to go stand at least 20 or so feet away from the weird color changing locket jewel. So as you make your way over, and she looking through the letters, she
Anything about carpenters or scythes?
she hands the sheath of paper back to you, and then, wait, sorry,
Yeah.
and takes it back. So, piece by piece, it all seems relatively mundane. You can see most of this first page here, these few passages. They're just talking back to his family about his true mission, which I had assumed at the time was his diplomacy or whatever it was, and his contact in a guild back home, and that they'd left him with this locket. It mentions someone named Shalariel by name. I don't know if that's his mother, a sister, perhaps.
Doesn't ring a bell.
One of the guild contact, maybe. But this is fairly old. You can see by the hand there's a pretty decent amount of time between that one and this one.
Mhm.
This one was written much more recently. And it's mostly him bemoaning that he's had nowhere to send this letter from. There's no post in most of Bort's journeys, I imagine. Certainly not Netrin's folly. And more theories about another contact. A hag, perhaps, that he thought he may have been meant to meet, was warning about blighted bogs and bees. But he seemed as confused as we are now. And
His
then he
recent
mentions-
life has been quite bereft of issues. With
Well, this is the ne-
natural wildlife.
It's only this third section that gets into that. He mentions arriving in Etrin's Folly, and he talks about the attack that you'd suffered on the road, the wolves that I'd brought back into town on my sledge. He mentions he must be close to the blight, briefly mentions Bort dying and him being poisoned, and that he knows little of it, but he's positive it isn't of elven make or work, and talking about the effects on the wildlife around here. It doesn't go into much detail, so it's hard to tell how much he truly knew. But he does immediately suspect this blight and tries to draw connections, much as I have, to these wolves that you met. And then the last of it becomes very hastily composed, very brief. Even without being able to read the words, you can tell the handwriting is much more rushed, much less cautious. He mentions his multiple brushes with death, as if fate is toying with him and his time is coming. And this isn't even finished. You see, this last word here he scratched out. I'm not sure for what purpose. And he only added one final line below that. Tell her to say to them, by the golden horns we shall meet again. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, the locket had horns, and it was golden.
But whatever beast that locket depicts isn't something I've ever seen before.
I also would not like to meet it again if it's going to show up. So maybe we should step slightly further back. Maybe like...
Well, I want to be able to keep an eye on it, though.
I have good eyes, and I can see it.
I don't think it's going anywhere as long as we don't touch it.
I don't know what this thing's power, but it seems to be fairly central to whatever his mission was. And whatever that was, it seems to involve blights near his homeland. Wherever that was. Do you know where he hailed from?
I don't. Well, wait. Keonan, he talked about it, didn't he?
We just didn't know the specifics. I don't believe.
Well, Keonan is far from here. Many nations to the southeast, across the inner seas even. And that's supposedly the elven homeworld, where all of our race had spiraled out from.
Fair
I've
enough.
never been there, but I've never been far from Isker.
Of course. Huh. Well, I mean, if this blight effect is that widespread, this is serious.
It's certainly concerning. I'd seen a few in the wilds around Etrin's Folly over the last few years, largely spiraling out of the main one a few days' journey from here, and they have been spreading. The one I took you to yesterday has only been here for a scant few months. It's recent, it's new, but it's growing with alarming size. But all of this, as far as I can tell, has spread out from that original source. I haven't seen any signs of anything else further into the woods beyond that. But if there's something similar happening in Keonan, he does admittedly seem to not know for sure there's a connection, just that they were investigating something they call the Blight. It sounds startlingly similar, and he'd come out here to investigate and see if they may be related. It's possible it's coincidence, but if there's anything I've learned, nature has precious few coincidences.
Okay.
It is entirely possible that the one causing these isn't even around here anymore. They could
Anything's
just be
possible.
spreading it.
We don't know the source of the blights. I've no idea where the original spawned from or what causes new ones to appear. There's no rhyme or reason other than the center of each seems to be a great tree. But these great trees, massive oaks and pines, were perfectly healthy beforehand, and there are still many spread throughout the forest that suffer no such illness.
Oh wait, the locket? Nope, it was just the wind. Okay, sorry, continue.
Is it still yellow?
It does appear to be yellow, but I think it just, I think the wind, I think it just moved. No, it's okay. Just go on.
I was hoping to find some answers heading up there the other day, but, well, perhaps we did. Answers that your friend had already had. Unfortunately, we can't exactly ask him now.
Yeah. Huh. By the golden horns we'll meet again? Is that what it said?
That's what it said.
Maybe there's more...
Is that a religious thing? Like, would I...
You can roll a religion check.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
I think we can all do that, so...
There's a thing we can do.
That's a hard 20 plus 5.
Nice, I'm at 24.
Is it a religious thing?
Yes, it is.
What kind of a religious thing?
It is the beast that House Kiar worships.
Oh, okay. So it would be, you would know it's basically a demigod that's not it's not part of the normal Undersea pantheon, but it is one of the elven demigods from the homeland of Keonan, one of the many clans and houses pay homage to. But you wouldn't know really anything about it.
Would I have at least like a name, perhaps, with a hard 20?
The Great Katie.
There you go.
There you go.
What he said.
All right, I'll relay that
But
information.
Yeah, but you don't know what it is. You just know.
To the best of my knowledge, it's called this. That's it.
So it's like this locket is a religious icon then.
As far as I can tell, I don't know anything about this. It's so far-fetched.
Well,
whatever
that
it is
actually does make me feel better because
That
it means
does
he didn't
actually, yeah.
lift it off of someone else's. So it's probably not necessarily going to explode, and it also means it probably isn't going to turn into an avatar of this thing. So, or a monster's not going to pop it. That actually makes me feel better.
If it did, perhaps it would be helpful.
Would it?
Uh,
In what capacity?
If it did, perhaps we should be where it would be useful and take this to the Blight with us.
Do you think it will help?
It can't hurt.
well,
This
It
is-
can't be any worse than the Blight itself.
This is the most I've seen of anyone else having any knowledge about these blights in the years since the original began to grow. And this is the first thing I've seen that may bear some connection to them. Perhaps even help. But I have no idea what it is. All the years I've spent trying to unravel this mystery, and we just get a second mystery that I know nothing of.
Well, I'm gonna, now that I know this is a religious symbol, and we're not really getting anywhere based on it just sitting there, I'm gonna go back over to it, pick it up,
Still yellow.
it's still yellow.
We have to clear the Blight. We have to do something about it, even if it's just burning down that damn tree. This is coming with us. Let's just go take care of this. We don't have much of another choice.
we need to get in there eventually anyway. I certainly wasn't expecting to get a mystery. He left a number of his effects.
Is there no more hint as to where we could send some of his effects to go back to his family? Or
Was there an
anything?
address he mentioned in that letter?
Nothing. Just briefly mentioned his family and
So we have a name.
only the
We have a
one.
From
religious
Keonan, perhaps.
Shalariel.
Shalariel
and the
and-
name of a hag are the only two in this entire letter. And the hag he just thought may be a contract, seemingly an Isker.
All right.
Do you know a Shalariel? Did he know a Shalariel?
He may have, but he never told us about it.
Yeah.
We knew very few things about his personal life.
Does he have anything else left still in the caravan, perhaps?
Well, he has some carpenter tools, but I mean, they didn't seem to be anything spectacular about them, and no scythes were in those carpenter tools either.
Well,
Oh,
you don't need
A scythe is a farming tool.
Yeah.
That's
don't
what
need
I'm saying.
I don't see what use a carpenter would have for one.
Unless he decided to take up farming just as a hobby, I agree. Maybe he was a farmer who took up carpentry as a hobby.
Tree farming. With a scythe.
What would a scythe do to a tree?
Saplings.
That's not at all what a scythe is for.
What if it was like
The
a tree, but instead of it being like a really thick, hard tree, it was like a really flexible tree that just kind of was really more like leaves growing out of it, like grass. What if it was like grass and not trees?
I don't understand where this is going.
Like a wicker basket almost.
Sides would work excellently against a wicker basket.
Well, I doubt that the core of this was farming wicker baskets. Perhaps,
There's a reason
but
for the
for all
scythe.
we know, perhaps it was. That's how little information we have.
Do we have any scythes?
As far as we or the gods can tell, this locket may turn into a pile of wicker baskets given enough time. Magic be damned! What do we
I
do
look-
with this?
I look
Is it yellow for
suspiciously over
wheat?
at the locket.
Make a fucking hero
Electron's Folly could certainly use a different staple starch.
That
that's
was
for
the
sure.
plan.
It was a mention of mercy the
He
whole
was
time.
sneaking wheat into the turnip fields.
I can't imagine wheat would grow well here, given the climate and the altitude.
I know
Wheat
nothing
can
of
grow
farming.
almost anywhere.
I'll go with him.
Maybe if you had woodcrafters, maybe woodcrafters can grow wheat here.
But that's a different profession. If you gave a carpenter a scythe, he'd scarce know how to use it, and you can't hammer wheat seeds into the ground.
Isn't that what the letter
letter
said?
It was the thing on the jewel.
Yeah, it was. It was a carpenter in dire need.
In dire need, a carpenter in dire need, and then in quotes, a carpenter needs no scythe.
A carpenter needs no scythe.
Well, that's not wrong.
They wouldn't need the scythe. He just needs to plant the wheat. The scythe is irrelevant to this entire situation. It's a red herring.
This whole thing makes no
Red
sense.
herring. It has nothing to do with this. All right. A carpenter needs no scythe. That's technically correct, but I can't see how that would ever be relevant in any situation for a carpenter nor a farmer. Why would a carpenter even have a scythe?
Maybe we
For
should.
the wheat.
Maybe we should find a situation in which a carpenter would need a scythe.
I feel
But it's clearly not a dire situation.
this is a
because
religious
it's-
thing, right? Perhaps it's a symbolism of some sort. I'm fairly certain a religion developed around a carpenter I'd heard of before. Oh, something from the central human lands, but I can't remember the specifics of it.
Do I remember the
Yeah,
specifics of
can
it?
we do that again?
Make me a religion check. It's a Jesus joke. It's a fucking Christianity joke.
Good news, I rolled a 7. I don't know that.
Well, I got a 24. I totally get it.
Yeah, joke went right over my head. Sorry.
So, but
I don't know Pathfinder Pantheons very well. Is there actually a Jesus?
no, there's not actually.
Okay.
I mean, well, technically in Pathfinder, Earth is a place that exists in the same galaxy as Galarian. Like
That means that
they're on the same planet. They do exist. So like Christianity does exist.
well, that would mean that all the religions on Earth would also have gods, because it doesn't like the power of belief turn some things into gods.
Something. Gods take different forms in different planets.
Yes.
So I mean,
So be careful what you interact with, because it could be a gun.
Does that mean that the picture of Jesus fighting the elephant god that I can't remember the name of, Ganesh,
I don't fucking know.
that could be a reality?
But it is the reason
in
that
Pathfinder.
Well,
the
Perry Bible
Osirian,
Fellowship is an excellent comic
the
series.
Osirian pantheon on Galarian worships is
Sobek.
the Egyptian gods. They are the same gods the Egyptians on Earth worship. They
Hey.
worship like Ra and Anubis and all them. Because same universe, same plane of existence, same deities. So I mean, theoretically, Jesus is also a deity somewhere, or a form of some other.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Do you want me to hold that for you?
No, I have to be doing something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I can't sit still.
maybe it'll become more clear. Maybe we have to think about it. Maybe the gem is going to change another color that'll give us some more information.
Well, it's been some time now.
It's still yellow.
We've been
huh?
discussing this 20, 30 minutes now, and it's still yellow.
Feels like it's been all day.
I'm just. Can I just put it on so I can see the light?
You are probably much larger than El Wreath, so I don't know if there's enough.
You can be
like,
a choker.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna be like a choker.
Well, I
on
can
you.
like put it on my head at the very least.
It's the
whole point- the whole
You can
point
put it on
is
your head and just dangle it on your
The whole
forehead.
point is we need to see the amulet and like when it changes colors. So if it's a clear just caution sign on my forehead,
So Rogish picks up the necklace and puts it.
I
on
tried to
his-
put it on.
puts
It's not
it
going
on his
anywhere.
forehead. So the gem in the center and the whole locket is dangling right in front of the bridge of his nose. And it is around this time that another elf enters the clearing. Curved elven blade drawn.
Where's
Motive-
Elrith?
Is it still yellow?
It is still yellow, and you would see a group of people you do not recognize at all. A half-orc, notably with an incredibly recognizable locket,
Yes.
sit on his head, hanging in front of his forehead, as they all kind of turn to look at you.
Where did you come from? Like, would you have come from back towards
You would have
town?
come from back towards town. You would have come into the clearing from towards town. I
Elrith,
imagine he would have been told that this group is out
Yes.
probably in this clearing.
Yes. Where's Elrith?
Believe he should.
So, who are you?
Who I am is not important. Why do you have his locket?
Because we came out here to talk to her because the letter is in Elvish.
And Noella puts her hands up. I'm involved in none of this. You brought this to me so
You're the
I can read the
translator.
letter to you.
You're the translator in this. You're not involved, but you helped. That's why we're out here.
Whoever.
Who are you?
Gulrish Boghosh.
Marn.
we were Elrith's
Roll.
traveling companions.
I'm gonna roll lore because I'm pretty sure she has her robes on.
Yeah, do you have religion?
No,
What's
but
your-
I have
what's your lore?
hometown lore. I'm gonna
Oh,
assume
okay.
that she's a sun maiden.
Okay. Fair.
So that would be 11. That's probably not enough.
Yeah, it's not. It's clearly something, but you're not
Yeah.
entirely sure exactly what it is.
It's like, you, sun maiden! I don't like dwarves.
Oh, he's a ray of
But-
sunshine, isn't he?
Well, it was a female elf.
Oh, okay.
But, from where I come from, most of you are supposed to tell the truth. Who are you to Elrith?
Well, I'm really feeling very pressured here, and I don't even know who you are, and I think it's very odd that you know Elrith, and we've really been going through a lot right now,
Hold on.
and I don't think you understand.
She's still
I'm
got
gonna
like
just-
this big curved elven sword.
I'm
up.
just gonna take a
Out
step
there.
just to be 5 feet in front of.
Just kind of shift a little in front of
They
the
can
elf.
probably roll a perception check on the sword.
And Noala, looking across you, Elrith came with us to, kind of talking over you as you stand there. Elrith came with us to explore a blight in the forest nearby. This letter, do you know of these blights? Do you have a similar disease near Keonin? Is that why he was here? Is that why you're here?
Where is this place?
I can take you.
No,
If you'll
I
help
mean,
us.
where is this place? I literally have no idea where I am.
How did you arrive here?
The stone sent me here.
He just kind of looks at the amulet hanging out.
It put me on top of some very soft dirt near a crossbow. And I was asking for Elrith, and they pointed me into this direction.
I'm sorry I let him die. I really tried so hard.
And she looks over at Marn and just kind of gestures to the newcomer. The carpenter, perhaps?
Or the scythe.
Does this mean anything to you?
So, are you asking me?
The line. Say the line again because I don't remember it.
Oh,
So he says a carpenter needs no scythe.
a carpenter needs no scythe. Would you be the carpenter or the scythe?
No. I come in dire need.
Well, a little late for that, I'm afraid. But Elrith, he was investigating a blight nearby, and we were attacked by some twisted wildlife, and he didn't make it out.
He fell.
Do not toy with me.
I don't
He-
joke about that.
Yesterday was difficult. He fell trying to put an end to whatever this blight in the forest was, this disease, this infection that's spreading rapidly throughout the forests north of here. But we were unable to stop it, or even make the way to its center. The beasts, even the plants now around the area, are filled with some unholy fervor and strength. They are dangerous, far beyond what even I had anticipated in my years of studying the spread of this curse, whatever it is.
So do you know Elrith? Are you are you his mother or something?
How old do you think I am?
It's hard, no offense,
Another
but
slight like that, and you will burn. You will burn like a witch.
it's hard to tell with elves, you have to admit.
Look,
Yes, it is true, but even for us, you can tell when one is much more advanced in age.
So, grandmother?
I'm the same age as Eldred. Quite practically.
Oh.
I'm literally only
Oh,
a few
oh.
moons older than he is.
Oh.
Just out of curiosity, please don't take this the wrong way. How old are you?
I'm 50.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, is that...
So,
You're over double my age, and you look.
Noala just holds
Yes,
up
I
a
look
hand.
18. Yes.
We live different lives in the mortal races, but
Yeah, so I would like a little bit of consideration.
You could be 500 for all we know. We can't tell.
look,
The point still stands. His locket is on your head.
Because I was
And if
trying
you
to
do not
watch
return
this.
it to me, I will kill you.
we have
Well,
no
you're welcome to have it.
need of this locket, but whoever you are, the dire need is certain. Whatever this is that's spreading through the forest, we need help handling it.
Who are you to Elrith?
He's my fiance.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, indeed. Well,
I'm surprised you didn't see the sword.
No, you were waving it about in a very obvious manner.
I saw the point.
I also.
Well, the same crest is on the sword.
Oh.
Same crest as the amulet.
Yes.
Oh, the golden horn thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, she bows her head a bit. As well, then, I suppose if you're looking for blame, that rests sadly on my shoulders. I was the one who led him and his allies here out to the Blight to try and determine its root, see what lighted its heart, and
But
We
again,
weren't
I'll go
prepared.
back. Where am I? What is this place? It's definitely far from where I live.
this is far from Keonan. This is Etrin's Folly. The Easker?
I know where
Cheliax?
Easter eggs, but
Okay.
that's quite a bit away.
Well, it's
He was
right
supposed-
nearby now.
We're
He
right
was
on the-
supposed to go to the Five Kingdoms and keep peace with the dwarves.
Well, that's not far from here.
You mean he was actually supposed to do that?
Well, yes, he is a diplomat.
He's actually a diplomat?
Yes.
What is the direct translation?
Talking to both of the elves here. What is the direct translation of diplomat from Elven to Common?
We don't. It's not a direct one-to-one correlation. I suppose
We have
diplomat,
figured that out actually.
envoy,
Oh.
consorts, they would all kind of fall under the same banner.
Does pickpocket fit in there anywhere?
Oh, you mean that? Well, looking at you, you still have coins, so that means he either trusted you, or he just didn't have a good enough chance yet.
Likely not a good enough chance.
Well, she definitely knew Elrith.
Yeah. I'll take the amulet off my head, walk over, and hold it out.
All right, she'll take it with the tip of her sword.
What is your name?
I am Shilariel Udin.
There's the name.
House Udin.
Oh, well then I suppose this letter as well is yours. And hands out the letters that Elrith had had. They're the only name mentioned directly, and our only really understanding this, but if my Elven hasn't completely forsaken me, you know something of at least a similar blight.
Yes. Although I don't know what your blight is. South of Keonan, there's an area called the Tanglebriar. It's an area of undeath. Everything that goes there comes back. But dead. But yet still living.
I don't know that this is exactly the same sort of cause. As far as I can tell, nothing about this corruption causes the dead to walk again or anything of the sort. It just warps, twists, and mutates the natural wildlife, turning them into disgusting parodies of their pristine selves.
That
Wolves.
sounds very similar to Undeath, actually.
I suppose, but
But it's not undeath.
It's similar. It's not the same, but I could understand why it would be something he investigated.
especially with the beginning of that letter, what he'd written and what had been heard is this corruption, the trees dying, their bark stripping off in black tar, the acid spewing forth from the wolves that you would fought specifically, but there's no consistency to these mutations. They show up with no rhyme or reason, seemingly random, reckless warps. Each one afflicted a different way and to a different level of severity.
Well, do you mind if you give me a minute so I can read this?
Of course. And she
I'll start looking around.
kind of
over
steps
here.
back as Shalariel reads through Elrit's letters and
I'm
gets caught up in everything he'd written down.
It's like, you mentioned an old hag named Desney or something.
I know nothing of a hag nor a Desney.
He never spoke of it.
It's weird, because I had a dream about a week ago about an old hag who told me that to get ready.
Perhaps related then? Perhaps some kind of a divine guide, but again, this is far beyond me. But what I can do is give you a hero point for the most convoluted character introduction I've ever experienced in my life.
That went pretty well.
No, it was just,
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
I'm not. I'm solid. You getting a hero point was fantastic, but rarely
But
is
that
such
being
effort
said-
put into a character introduction before they even join the party.
I see your party has no wizard. That is correct.
I am a wizard. Why should we take you? Because
Well, I see.
I too am 7th level and very tangentially intrigued by your tales.
Soul.
What's this about the circle?
Well, at the
I
end of
would
his letter,
love to come along.
his parents definitely need to know about this.
Do
About
you have
that,
a-
do you have a
will-
way back?
Does this locket work
No.
both ways? Is it a?
She grabs the lock and says, "By the golden horns, we shall meet again." And the gem actually shatters.
Ah.
Was it kind of just bursts? Well,
But she says that in Elvish.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
so you would hear say something in Elvish, and Noala
Flippy
would,
dippy doo dah.
Noala would look to Marn.
Well, I suppose if you're interested in following through with Elrith's quest, I suppose.
Well, the thing is, you guys are way further away than I was expecting him to be.
This is actually from Keonan. This would be closer to the Five Kings Mountains. Because it's like there's Keonan is across the inner sea, like on the southern border, and I guess they're kind of equidistant. It's
Yeah.
real close. The Five Kings Mountain is like right north of here. If
Yeah.
you just kept going slightly further, you'd hit the Five Kings Mountains.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we be like farther west than expected though?
A little
Yes,
more
west.
west than expected, yeah. There
Yeah.
would be more west than
Is
expected.
that it is a little further out than I expected him to travel. Because, like I said, he was supposed to keep peace with the dwarves in the Five Kingdoms.
Well,
And,
the caravan he joined with was led by a dwarf.
Yes, half of all
that makes-
dwarves he's interacted with have died under mysterious circumstances.
oh, well,
But we're
that's-
working on that.
That will not bode well, for sure, if that gets back.
But perhaps we may find some clues. But regardless, more immediately, we can't travel while these blights infest the area. The roads are too dangerous.
And if you're willing to continue Elrith's task, again, we're in dire need of assistance.
Wait a second. That patch of soft dirt that I landed on,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
there's a crossbow there. Yeah, I see none of you carry a crossbow. And I know Elrith doesn't carry a crossbow that large.
Well, no, we
Well-
weren't going
We had a
to.
surplus.
We had a lot of them,
We
actually.
came into a lot of crossbows.
a lot of crossbows.
There's lots have happened while he's been with us.
There wasn't anything more suitable to mark his grave, unfortunately.
We are
Really? But he's a Kiar. You can't leave him like that. Sun Maiden, aren't you supposed to burn them?
Well,
I wanted
it
to
was-
leave him where he died.
It was against
It's only
the
proper.
culture of the town, and I did not want to intrude.
I've never been to Keonan, so I admittedly know nothing and little of any elven customs from the homeland.
Is there a large river close by?
Well, there's a stream
A
not
stream
far
will,
north
a
of here.
stream will not do. A stream will not do.
The
Well,
stream-
if he's already been buried and if he's been buried for a long time, there's no point in burning him then.
Well,
It's a
stream, do the elves put their bodies in the water?
Yes, we put them on boats and we shoot a fire arrow at it. Quite spectacular sight to see.
Oh.
I fear we've neither a river large enough to float a boat nor a boat. So, I mean, surely all streams feed downriver, and several days' journey from here, it does grow into a much
No,
mightier.
it'd take too long.
Well, Elrith
No.
Elrith was a good companion. When we return to town, if it is your desire, I will help you exhume his body.
I too can also assist
Well, how long has he been dead?
for
A day?
Hasn't it been like
It's been like less than
18
a day at
hours
this
or
point.
less?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
like 18 hours.
Yeah, he
or
fell.
so.
He just fell
Yeah,
yesterday.
he fell within the day.
Oh. That was expeditious. But still, it brings me great sadness. That means he's not decomposed yet. Yes, we should burn him. And I shall burn down half the forest too,
Well,
if that is what's caused his death.
Are you sure you're an elf?
I was about to say the same thing.
this, if we can get to the heart of whatever is causing this, if we can find some sort of indication in this nearby blaze, the 3 hours journey from here, if you can help us get to the center of the great tree that spawned this newest one, perhaps we can find some sort of a hint or a way to survive the Grand Blight, the
And-
Great Scar.
Moreover, you may find a direct agent who caused Elrith's death.
I'm looking for any
Maybe.
source of information.
You'll need to fill me in on what's happened here. For I know not of
Travel
What?
with us, and we'll talk.
who's even gone.
I suppose we won't be heading out today. I had been packing to travel back to the Blade myself to attempt to do what I could.
Let's
Well,
go now.
But to the Blight?
Yes.
Why not?
What about your fiancé?
I would imagine he's not
I-
going anywhere.
I am filled with rage. I must release it.
In the most calm, monotone way as possible. I feel rage.
I'm mad.
Quietly seething.
Well, I'm not going to turn down the help. Certainly. If you're ready, I'm mostly prepared. I can take us back out to the Blight again.
Excellent. Let's do this and see what we can find.
So it will only take Noala a little bit of time to finish packing her things and her kit. Since she's now no longer going alone on what is functionally a suicide mission, she actually ends up taking a lot of stuff back out and packing a good deal lighter. And within half an hour, she's ready to lead everyone back up in the forest.
While she's doing that, Marn will tell Shalariel basically stories of Elrith and the adventures they've had and what they went through. And Elrith's brave, if somewhat foolhardy, gung-ho-ness whenever it came to combat.
Oh yeah, that's definitely how he works over there. He wasn't one to back down from a fight.
And as you
Although very foolhardily though.
and
We used
over
to have
this,
lots of fun in Keonan.
over this little window of time, he largely catches you back up on why you're here and the events leading directly to, well, the Blight and that journey yesterday. And then Noala takes you back off in the forest, following at first small footpaths and then again, very shortly, forking off into just trailblazing through the wilderness. And after a few hours, again, she has led you back into the edges of the Blight itself, where the trees and the wildlife begins to die, and where the forest itself starts to almost fall apart. The ground softens, not as mud, but just as
Squish.
sickening black, soft soil. The
So this is the bog.
the
that-
leaves droop
that we
down, and
wrote about.
the sounds of life throughout the forest fall away near entirely. And as you get to the edge of this, she turns to Shalariel. Says, does this look similar at all? Anything like what's happening in... What did you call it?
In the Tanglebriar. No, it's definitely different. This type of rot smells different.
And it's certainly sour, but I was afraid it wouldn't be exactly what you'd been after. This, as I said, I've seen no signs of any kind of undeath, no reanimation, no possession,
No,
simply infections and mutation.
maybe the guild sent him out over here to find a way to get rid of Tree Razor.
I don't recall that name, but it's nothing I've heard of. Well, we're not far from the heart. This one is relatively small. If it's agreeable, we'll do much the same as before. I don't want anything that's been corrupted by whatever the source of this is to escape and spread out further. I still don't know how this infection spreads or how new blights are formed within these grand trees. So I'll set snares and traps around the proximity, and you four head inside and be safe. Please.
Since the bushes are gone, wouldn't it be doable to set up like snares and stuff in the actual clearing?
I don't know what lurks near the center, and I don't know what power is there, but as I said before, she motions down to her arm. Her right arm, of course, just kind of always in that massive scarred gauntlet that she just keeps folded across her midsection. I can't fight. If anything happens, I would at best be a handicap as you try to fend for yourselves.
Oh, that is too bad. If you ever make it to Keonan, I know somebody that can help with that.
It's alright. It's an old wound.
Well, we'll leave you to your trap setting, and we'll investigate the center. So Shalariel, tell me about yourself. Can you handle yourself well? You certainly handle that sword like you have an idea how to use it.
Yes. Both Elrith and I were trained in the use of this sword.
Really?
Yes.
He never used one.
Yes, that's
I
because...
would just get an eyebrow raise out of me.
That's because this is his sword. He gave it to me. It was one he commissioned specifically for me, but he used it.
I see.
As you can see, it's a little duller than normal, but it still gets the job done. Had to use it a couple times. You know, streets are tough sometimes.
Keonan is a wild and vicious place.
The tree branches of the
Well,
elephant.
the houses are always trying to get in power.
I see. Huh.
My house,
you-
being of the smaller kind, will inevitably try to get into a larger house like Kiar's, but
Do you like
Kiar's are always traveling. They're always performing, and they always say that the Kiar's protect us from a distance.
Marn's vision of like what elven society is actually like is getting turned on its head. It's like, gosh, they're like a bunch of like backbiting, self-assassinating, power mad.
That goddamn River Kingdom. What is this?
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's almost like they fit into the area they come from.
And but it's not all bad over there. You know, there are still a lot of good things that come from that. I mean, almost all of us in Keonan have some degree of minor magic, so I'm a little bit more advanced than they are.
Okay. All right. Well, if you
But they are
Rogish
great
and
masters.
Rogish and I can generally keep threats at a distance.
So you would be able to see just from looking at Shalariel that she doesn't appear to be wearing any kind of armor.
Okay.
She
So-
does have the curved elven blade. That almost like, is she small like Elrith is too? Or
Yes,
is she,
about 5 foot. So,
so
yes,
she's
this blade
also-
would be almost as big as her.
Yeah, so it does seem like in her hands almost oversized, but she's not wearing any visible armor or anything of protection at all.
Okay. So just kind of looking that over. Rogish and I are pretty good at keeping threats at a distance. Stay with.
It's okay. I also have a bow. It's on the back.
Okay.
You know, so it's just like most elves, we are trained to use many of the common weapons that are available to us. But
and I've seen elven bowmanship in all of its unorthodox manners.
At this point, Noala would have made her way out laterally around the side of the blight with supplies, leaving a large bulk of her things here. But
he was
taking
known
most of
for
it.
being rather crazy.
We're crazy. All right. Oh.
Well, even against the other elves of House Kiar, he's never really quite fit in. He wasn't a performer. No, I actually convinced him to become a diplomat, so that he can at least do something less dangerous than what they're actually known for.
I see.
I feel like I can hear Filippo somewhere in the distance saying, "Elves are so strange."
Somehow
I want you to
not
be safe,
agreeing.
so I'm going to send you halfway across the planet to investigate terrible things.
And you go into the soup forest of super murder and see what happens.
Anything safer than around here where
Without
everyone's
your
trying to
sword.
stab each other in the back. Let me send you over there where nature's stabbing everyone in the back.
No, nature's stabbing you in the front.
Yes,
Nature was not
has
subtle
no
about it.
guile about any
In
It
of
was
the
this.
very
face.
direct about the stabbing. You at least know it's coming.
Betrayal by nature.
That sounds like a perfume.
Yeah, it does actually.
Betrayal by
It
nature.
smells like this wound in the middle of the forest.
Okay.
All right.
Shitty and sour.
So I guess
While we're, traveling or whatnot, I guess I will, as we're talking about swords, I'll show the sword and whatnot, but I will mostly have my bow ready.
okay.
It's only like 100 feet to the tree.
Yeah, like we're gonna get there quick. Like we can probably see it by now.
Yeah, and at this point you would be approaching the clearing, and as you got closer,
So that's the thing that needs to burn.
you would see that it appears a pair of wolves have come into the clearing here to investigate the dead wolf and the pile of defeated shrubbery, whatever they are. So I will give you these two little wolfy tokens, but they have not immediately noticed you yet.
Orc.
They are small. They look to be young. But they do look quite sickly as well. Nothing like the caustic wolf you had fought and attacked you that had been like heaped up on steroids and mangy with that acidic bile dribbling out all around his mouth, matting the whole front of his fur. These are still sickly but smaller and almost like they've lost color in their fur. Like they were once black but are now almost kind of faded to a pale gray.
Is that the blight you're talking about?
This is the area, and that's the tree. The wolves are new, though. He'll just have his halberd ready.
Well, didn't you say you fought wolves before? Are these the same?
But these must be young. These, maybe they're traveling or new to the area.
Well, would you care to shoot them?
I'm gonna step forward and try to use intimidation to yell at them and scare them off.
Go on,
Alright.
get!
So roll Geesh is gonna step up, and I mean that's roll initiative.
Yeah.
But I will roll intimidate as your initiative here, as you step forward to make your presence known.
All right.
So let me make a table. They don't immediately turn around like to attack you. They definitely notice you're there and turn to you and growl, but they don't immediately lunge. So, Marn.
I have a 26.
Wow, wasn't it not 20?
I was an 18.
That's, well, you get a pretty hot initiative, I suppose.
It's actually, fighters get it expert, so.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Shalariel.
8.
The opposite.
Yes.
Was not ready for Rogish to step forward and start doing something. Rogish
11.
was not ready for himself to step forward. I mean, you're right next to him, to be fair, so you see him stepping forward, you're like, oh no. Something's happening. Adelpha.
20.
And
See,
let me roll.
they're ready for my level of shenanigans.
She is not prepared for how we operate yet.
Okay, and let me add both of these. We rolled conveniently identically,
Woot woot.
and conveniently identically really poorly. So, Marn, but you guys were like mega super poorly. Marn, you see Rolgish stepping forward, clearly making no effort to hide himself, striding out with some kind of a plan here. Real big.
All right, let's see what this big plan he's got is.
You want to delay? Or?
Yeah. So I'm going to actually ready a strike. He's got his halberd in his hands already, so he's just gonna ready a strike. And I have another action left, so I'll just kind of shout out at the wolf and just kind of go on, get!
Do you also want to try to intimidate the wolf?
I guess so.
Yeah, you see him stepping forward, and you try to intimidate the wolf.
I'm not
first.
sure what he's gonna do. I'm not
He's
sure.
like gathering up and get ready. You're just like, fuck off!
Get out of here, wolf!
So roll me 80 demoralize with intimidate.
Woo! My crap, intimidate. Let's see what happens. That's a 10.
With a 10, that's at that point the wolves turn to you and start to growl, but do not seem terribly intimidated by you, so to speak. Adelpha.
Only have gotten their attention.
I will. I'm going to wait my turn. I see all these guys walking up, and I'm just going to. I will look at the guys in front of me, and I just wait to see what they do.
So you want to hold. The two wolves are also just kind of holding.
Huh.
Because
Everybody here
nobody.
doing crazy things.
Nobody. It's kind of a Mexican standoff here. The wolves are sitting there.
I am
you got their
flabbergasted
attention.
as to
They're
what's going
growling.
on.
Martin yelled at them. They're kind of upset. But they're not lunging towards you. And Rogi steps forward, and
He barks out loud.
Explodes into a coughing fit.
I can only assume it was a natural
It
one.
was in that one, yeah.
Hey!
22. So
And-
I step forward. Get the fuck out of here!
He's like,
This might take him so long. It took him a second too. He like stumbled a bit, pulls himself back up, and yells out to which wolf?
Directly in front of me. The closest one.
Closer wolf. And you intimidate this wolf. It is clearly wisdom DC or will DC. It says on here demoralize is one of the things. Will DC. So it is
And then I can ready an action with 2, right?
yep.
So I can ready a flurry.
Yeah, you can ready a flurry because that's one action.
I'm not in dragon stance, but I'll ready
Ooh,
a
that's
flurry.
another advantage of flurry. You can ready it because it's a single action. That's kind of didn't realize that.
Yep. You get a lot of action economy out of flurry.
And with that, the northernmost wolf is going to take its turn, and it is going to just run off into the tree line, gone.
Smart dog.
The other wolf is going to lunge forward. So if you want to step in there, Adelpha, because you did beat it in initiative, you can step in like before it.
that's fine.
It's going to
It's going to trigger a lot of action.
It's got a lot of action. So
Thank you, dog,
at
thanks.
the 10-foot range,
at the 10-foot reach.
my readied strike goes off.
So you get to hit it twice because you have your ready to strike, and then it also triggers an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, technically I don't actually get the attack until it moves within 5. So
But it's
Yeah, so we're gonna
at
see if
the
it just
10-foot
dies.
range.
yeah, so at the 10-foot
Your
range,
ready swing goes off. and
ready
you
swing goes
lash out
off.
with
That's
the
a
halberd.
16.
A 16 will hit this smaller wolf,
That is a 10 damage. 10 damage.
and it's going to take 10 damage. And as it kind of startled, continues forward angrily towards you, your attack of opportunity triggers as it leaves that square.
Woo! That's only a 12.
12 will not hit. But then as it enters the next square, it triggers Rolgish's ready to action, which is a flurry of blows.
That is 17
17
For the first one.
Yeah, 17 hits.
and 18 for the second one.
18 also hits.
All right.
It's gonna walk right
These
to
are-
2 feet.
These I'm not in dragon.
Oh,
stance.
not 2 hands.
Yeah, 2
I mean, it could
hands.
still be feet. They're just not dragon stance.
All right,
feet.
so that is 8, and that is 12 total.
8 and 4.
Yep.
So
And a fort save.
yeah, as you lay into this smaller wolf as it approaches, you nearly bring it down immediately,
There's a lot of health.
and it's gonna make a fort save. Surprisingly hardy for how small it is. What's the DC?
17.
Yeah, it'll pass. It'll pass the fort save as it comes in. It gets tripped up by the halberd and barely skids aside of the second blow. Gets hit twice by Rogish as it comes in. At this point, slips and staggers over. And as it slips and hits the ground, it explodes.
What?
Suicide
What?
wolf.
God dang it.
It hits the ground and explodes in a spray of forceful gore and surprising heat. And I need Rogish and Marn to make reflex saves.
Ooh. That's a 26.
15.
15 and a 26. The 26 is... That's actually a critical success. So you managed to take no damage from this.
I didn't think it looked right.
15
shields are
is taking 11.
All right.
11 half fire, half bludgeoning from just the spray of boiling gore. As this
Fire
thing
and bludgeoning.
pops in front of you.
Like a joint, a hip bone joint, and goes smacks you
Yep.
right in the face.
It's just, it's just sheer force.
Can I
It
roll a
explodes
knowledge
like a
arcana on that?
bomb.
Yeah.
That would, like, that's not knowledge arcana. It's still a nature. It is an animal. It's just an
All right.
incredibly fucked up animal.
I guess roll 1 for me at a +1.
I don't know what kind of animal explodes.
I think you have to be trained
Marn
in
like
nature in order to know what
leans
it is.
back,
You
and
have
the
to be
concussion
trained to
catches
know
him and
it.
just
No.
throws him back a bit.
Yeah.
So, but does anyone trained in nature that wants to roll some kind of an identifier?
I am not trained in nature.
I can use my ancestral memories to get myself trained in that.
Okay.
You have to prep that each day.
It's a focus spell.
Oh, it's a focus spell.
Then you can if you want to, if you want
Yeah.
to expend that.
Yeah,
So
well,
it
it's the only
takes
focus
a
spell I
focus
can do.
point, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it takes a focus point.
Yeah, if you want to do that, you can do that.
Yeah.
And calling
And-
upon your ancestral memories.
And I will get +2 to the check because it makes me trained in it.
Okay.
And I get an additional +1 because Seer Elf gets an additional +1.
So what's the total additive you get there?
So just 3 because I have no wisdom.
Oh. Well, I read it's a secret
10.
check. It's a secret check.
Oh,
So
sorry.
as you look at that, you can tell that this was once just a wolf, seemingly normal. It was young, but as Noala had told you, this thing has been horrifically corrupted by this blight, somehow twisted and mutated to. And it's just as if its own organs were far too pressurized under that stress for it to even remain intact, weaponized even. This
Wow.
is just some sort of a sick mutation.
And then I'll run.
Well, I can see why
prestidigitation
Elrith died.
over.
That was disgusting.
Gotta-
Yeah, I
right there.
ran prestidigitation.
Hanging
over.
out
There's
of
a
my
lot of,
bald skull.
There's a lot of branches out over here.
Well, yep.
Yeah, the nature here is. Yeah, the wolf was the least of it.
Things are just
I'm rather glad I scared one off.
generally wrong.
Yeah, me too. Here, let me take a look at that. I'm gonna see
Yeah.
if I can't patch him up.
You can take 10 minutes to rest while you head into the tree.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Is that Elrith?
Yes, it is.
He
Maybe I should take. Maybe I should do this.
Do you know how to use it?
Yes, I have battle medicine. Whose health?
What's
do you
battle
think-
medicine? That's not a concept. that
I don't really know it.
Means I can do it in one
Well, I know what it
action.
means.
What is
but
an
like,
action? That's not a concept. that
No,
any
I
of
mean
us
I can treat
understand.
wounds as one action.
What is
Wait,
one
wait.
action? That's not a concept that any of us understand.
Sorry.
What do you know how to do?
I know how to heal wounds.
Yes,
Okay.
On the very quick.
because
There
Elrith
we go.
allegedly knew how to heal wounds
what we're looking
also,
for.
but he seemed to really like clean my wounds out with a dagger when he was trying.
Yeah, well, again, he didn't know everything.
That's my point.
Are you gonna let her, Solarial?
Let's see what she can do.
All right, we'll give her a shot. Give her
I'm the
benefit of
test
doubt.
dummy.
That'll be medicine. That'll be 13.
13. Solarial does seem to go quickly. The good side is whatever she's doing, she does very fast, and it doesn't hurt you, but it like may dull the pain a bit, but doesn't really seem to do anything other than superficially treat you
And that makes him immune to treat wounds for
For
the
an all
next.
day.
for a day.
Okay.
All day.
So
From me, that is.
from it's treat wounds is a
And it makes me
whole-
immune to battle medicine,
Battle
not
medicine.
treat
Let me double
wounds.
check. Because it is the first time with this battle medicine's come. But it makes you immune to something, and knowing specifically what it
Yeah.
makes you immune to is both pertinent right now and important to know for the future. So, yeah, it's immune to battle medicine, and it is immune to her battle medicine. He's totally
Specifically.
right.
Okay.
So he can be treated normally, and he can even be treated by battle medicine from other players.
Okay. Okay.
But mechanically,
So
Mechanically, or
so it was,
she has tried her best.
that was actually very quick,
yeah, she's done her best.
but
basically.
a little
That was just a little like
a little
You're
inexpertly. Let me do this.
So knowing the danger this area poses, you sit down.
You're actually going to want to spend 10 minutes to do this, or to spend some time to do this.
before going in the tree. Absolutely.
Well, don't we have a Sun Maiden?
We do, I suppose.
I would prefer.
Are you also gonna tell me how to do my job? Because
It must be
I'll
an
have
open
you
thing.
know. Well, I feel like we don't quite know what's in the tree yet.
I would prefer the emergency heals are saved for emergencies.
Fair enough.
Keep an eye out in case anything else comes around.
So, you, as you are treating Rolgish, exploration mode, what actions are we taking? Adelpha?
I was going to be searching.
Okay.
I'm
so
going to be
you,
readying to fight.
which is, so what do you mean by that? What are readying to fight how? Like what do you
Making sure that nothing else comes, so if it does, I will shoot it.
Okay,
So
you want like
scouting.
scouting?
That sounds like
more or
scouting.
less. Yeah, scouting the area, making sure that if anything's approaching, you'll be aware and you'll be ready. And Marn tends to roll geesh, and
I can also do a thing, can't I?
what do you want to do? Try to aid?
Search.
Yeah, you're sitting there being tended. So
Yeah, well, I can just like look around, keep my eyes.
Yeah,
open.
you keep right. Your eyes are open, but there's little you can really do since you're kind of occupied here. And Marn will treat you.
I will suppose I can aid him.
You can attempt to aid him, but I don't know if Marn even really.
Yeah, I'd rather. I got this. Don't worry
Like,
about
it's
it.
cool.
I got it. We're good.
Already, lore check. What was that called?
Repeat an action.
No, the one where you
It's like the thinking.
Oh,
thing.
it's wait. This is a thing. This is investigate. You want to?
I will investigate.
Investigate.
I'll
alright,
just
so
ponder
you'll
over
try
what
and-
we've been encountering.
Yeah, and you'll try and use your knowledge to learn whatever you can about this area and the blade itself. So, given 10 minutes, Marn, with a whole lot of experience he's gotten really recently on treating wounds, has become much better at this. And it's like his field medicine knowledge and training is coming back pretty quickly. So, you heal Rolgish for 2d8.
That's going to be 11.
That's exactly the amount of damage he took, so that works perfectly. With 10 minutes of effort and Elred's old healing tools, you're able to largely patch him up entirely. The wounds he took were pretty much superficial, so maybe a dull pain, but nothing more.
Burn
that-
my foot a little bit on some hot guts.
In that time, none of you really see any sign of anything here. The blights are strangely, well, not really strangely, I suppose, given the situation.
Eerily quiet.
Eerily quiet. They are very much bereft of normal sounds of wildlife and everything you would hear in the forest.
All right. Well, that should hold. Let's go ahead and clear this out and be rid of this place as quickly as possible.
So you move toward the large tree. You start
Into the abyss.
to make your way up forward, and as you approach the roots at the bottom of this tree, you would see the passage inside is quite narrow. Whatever this leads to, there's not a lot of space, and you're gonna have to pass in single file.
I think we're already in the tree.
I slid the map. You're gonna have to pass in single file.
All right. So
That's actually slightly too far. The light showing up on the.
so
just take the whole ball and just pick it all up, and when he's ready, just drop it. No, but realistically, I'll be
I'll
going.
never get tired of this ever.
I'll be going first, probably, so Mr. Halberd can halberd.
I'm going to light a torch and hand it to you.
Wait, don't you have the?
burns?
Yes, but torches are hot.
Not an ever burning.
Fair.
So you want hot.
Yes,
You want the
I think
regular
hot would
torch.
be a handy thing to have.
Worst case scenario, we burn the tree down around us and kill whatever's inside with us.
Well, if you
Alright.
wanted fire, all you do was ask.
But now we have more fire.
So
We'd like to
Safety fire.
it's gonna be Rolgish and then Marn and then.
And is it going to be difficult to maneuver that halberd in here, or am I going to be okay with it? you
Well, it
think?
looks like it reads into a very small crevice. It looks like it may be challenging to
Okay.
really get anything out of that.
So
halberd.
I'll leave the halberd out here. I'll pull my sword, and I'm actually going to wrap the talisman around the hilt.
Okay, and ready that so that you
Is it
have
dark
the-
in there?
I can't really tell. You're twisting in underneath the roots of the tree, so you can't really see where you're heading, only that you're going into a very small space underneath the massive dying tree at the center of the blight.
I was just asking to fill
May I
the
have a
dark.
light source?
Yeah,
You
darkness you can't see it because you just can't
I
see where you're
will,
going. Assumedly,
yeah.
it probably will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sword's lit up now. I'll
Okay.
cast light on it.
Yeah, quick cantrip and your
Oh,
sword
so you
now
are a sun maiden.
emanates light.
Were you just assuming it this whole time?
Yeah, kind of.
And then, what order do you two want to go in? We've got Rogish, Marn, Shalariel, and
Shalariel.
Alpha.
I'll go next.
Okay. So as you move into the tree here, there's no, even the people who aren't searching, you can't not notice it. You have no matter how much you may want to, you're hit with a smell of wet, rotting fur, like not just wet dog, but wet dead dog,
Oh, nice.
coming out as you meander your way in here. And
Oh, that
as
smells just like the things we just fought, except worse. Way
Concentrated.
worse.
as you begin to make your way underneath the trees and into this path that's led by this winding mess of roots, it
I
gets
don't like what I'm seeing.
even smaller. You're going to have to physically crawl on your hands and knees to continue going forward.
Not this again. You're in the lead this time.
All right, I guess we're backing out a little bit, and I'm taking the lead.
You
You
were
are
always
in the
taking
lead.
the lead.
You're already taking.
I thought we switched because you had the sword and shield out.
That was
No.
never said, and I
Oh.
never thought we
No,
would.
we definitely
I
felt
thought
that.
it.
Oh,
I
is
just
that-
didn't say it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
So-
my mistake. So I'm in the lead.
This passes down, and the narrow tunnel becomes slick with foul-smelling mud underfoot. So what was soft black earth, or something almost a white earth outside in the center of this blight, is now more of this just wet morass leading down underneath.
My chain.
And as you make your way in here, you can see light coming from inside, however dimly. With a shimmering pool of oily water, barely visible, glowing,
Oily water.
illuminating a cavern underneath this area. The whole chamber smells worse of this wet fur and death the deeper you get. And as you crawl your way in here, the smell becomes near overwhelming, and I'm going to shift the thing again, but not for jokes this time because I have to, because this cave is about yay area. So
I'm just gonna wait for
Yeah,
it to be
I'm
done.
yeah, you
just
go.
gonna
Just
It
wait
should,
for it
it
to be
should stay
done.
right there.
Okay.
And it gets darker but you have your torch in hand as you're crawling down on knees and elbows, and you have the light glowing from your sword as you're having to also crawl on your elbows. And I mean, at least the dwarf doesn't have to stoop quite as low, and at least Solariel's also a fairly short elf. So, but still, all of you are having to get very down here. As you make your way in, it does open up at least a little. You still have to stoop and crouch, but you're no longer having to crawl on hands and knees. And roll Geesh as you are the first to make your way in here. Next to this pool, beneath the gnarled and dying tree roots that make the ceiling here that have kind of largely given way. The large ones have given way to the outsides. The smaller ones just draping down wet and dead. Is the rotting corpse of what must have been a truly gigantic wolf. Near the size of a bear, this thing lies decomposing on the northern shore of this pool. Nosing around it are a pair of completely hairless, terribly mutated wolves. Each of them deformed by massive pustules and tumors across their entire body. They are wholly eyeless, as any of their features on their face have completely rotted away and boiled over by this infection. But they clearly detect your presence as they sniff and turn towards you, but do not immediately attack.
Don't be boom wolves. Don't be boom wolves. They might be boom wolves.
All right. So upon noticing them, I will, as I'm moving forward to get out of the way to let other people come in, I will say,
They're blind. Try to be quiet, but we have to deal with them.
And as he moves out of the way and Marn comes into the chamber and says that, a second person entering the cavern seems to be a little much for them, and the two wolves move forward to defend their lair. So I am once again going to need some initiative.
Woo! Nice.
Now, at least you're not on hands and knees here. You have that going for you, which is certainly a bonus. However, oh my god, so, okay, is it easier to grab this anchor? It is actually much easier to grab that anchor. I should probably grab the designated anchor in the corner of the initiative pane. As you make your way in, you're still very much having to crouch, and it's difficult to move around in here. Everyone is going to treat the entirety of this cave as difficult terrain.
Okay.
Because you are simply too large to make your way through here properly.
difficult terrain, you say?
In addition, you can see these wolves and you can hear them growling as they move to attack, but all of the dead roots and moss hanging down from the ceiling would make it incredibly difficult to precisely land any attacks on anything that isn't immediately in front of you. Everything more than 5 feet from you is treated as concealed.
This sounds like it was made for me.
So, Adelpha, what is your initiative?
17.
17. Shalariel.
15.
15. Marn.
I have a 26 again.
You're getting hot initiative rolls. Roll Geesh.
22.
22. You two were in the front.
Oh,
It makes
23.
sense. 23.
Not that I think that matters.
Oh, did everyone account for the +1 because
24.
Shalariel's scouting?
Ah, I'm sorry.
No,
No, 27.
That'll add 1 to mine as
Yeah,
well.
okay, let me
Everybody has a +1.
+1, everybody. Everyone is just slightly higher. And Adelpha 18, and then let me roll.
Something doesn't smell right.
And I can't investigate these
And I don't
because
think
I'm not
it's
trained
Marn.
in nature.
Nor do I think it's Rogish.
Unless these blind wolves are religious, I cannot investigate them.
I mean, they might be, but they don't have the ability to express their religious inclinations to you.
Exactly.
So,
Oh,
Marn.
no, that's
Wolf.
okay. It's just a Delpha.
Do you have a moment to hear about my wolfy religion?
Bork, bork!
Bork, bork. Bork, bork, bork,
Marn,
bork.
you're up first. Roll Geesh, you're on deck, and the wolf furthest away seems to be much more fervently moving closer, trying to investigate what's going on.
Lovely.
The one nearest you seems almost overwhelmed and slow to react.
Gotcha. Okay. So Marn is gonna sink to his knees, and he's gonna seat the shield over his thigh. This is actually it would actually have been part of his training for if ever your leg is injured, how to protect yourself on the ground. So he should be feeling fairly safe about this. So he's going to sink himself down and slide up to engage this wolf here.
All right. And yeah, it costs you 20 feet of movement, but you can easily do that.
And I have it, yep. And he's going to raise that shield, and he's going to take a strike at that wolf.
Fair enough.
That is a 15.
A 15 is not going to hit. As you shuffle forward here on your knees, you keep yourself fairly protected, but it's really hard to get a good angle to swing even a sword in here,
Okay.
much less a halberd.
Might want to go for some stabs then in that case
And
next time.
yeah, you can't bring it around with enough force to do anything other than just batter uselessly against the side of this wolf.
Okay.
Rogish.
Well, seeing as this is a difficult place to move around in, we're gonna sink down into a crouching dragon stance.
Crouching dragon, hidden half orc.
And I'm going to take advantage of my mobility to move 15 feet forward, taking the space in front of Marn so that I can attack the... Yes, exactly. Attack the one that he has already taken a swing at. And when I get there, I'm going to bring 2 feet directly up into its side.
And the
in a
way
flurry
that
of
the way
blows.
you fight, the
Crab
way that
walk.
this stance that you take is already low and actually surprisingly adept to moving around under here. So
2
give me,
sweeping kicks.
give me those sweep. I don't think you can do many other kind of kicks given the space.
16.
16 is going to strike against the side of the wolf, but not hard enough. This seems the things are surprisingly solid and rigid. Even the pustules and tumors that coat its body seem to be very firm, almost like
15.
leather. 15 is going to be the same thing. All right, and then this wolf here is going to move forward up to you, and as you move in, it moves forward as well to meet you and just strikes out with its jaws. Its mouth having to actually tear open the skin on the sides like it had just grown over and almost shut itself, spraying forth blood and foul-smelling ichor as it attacks. What is your AC?
18.
With an 18, it will bite you. And as it sinks its jaws in, you take 5 physical damage, but in addition, whatever is oozing out from its mouth, whatever is coming from these pustules, deals another 6 acid damage. This infection, this liquid, proving to be more dangerous than even the jaws of the beast itself. But once it does manage to bite onto you, it simply rips and tears, shaking its head side to side and digging into you, dealing an additional 6 damage. And really setting in with this acidic infection, this ichor, and you are taking 1 persistent acid damage.
Whole lot of not saves.
Adelpha.
That sucks.
So I can't actually see really what's going on,
Thanks, Laura. You're next.
as I'm going to actually wait until Shalariel actually.
Until I get my butt out of your face.
Yes.
Shalariel.
all right, I'll get my butt out of your face.
Thank
So
you.
I shall move 10 foot forward if possible
Huh?
to try to get out of the way over there. Can I see these things?
You can see them. They're concealed from you, but you can see them. And concealed means that you are going to have to make a DC 5 flat check to target them with anything, unless it's an area of effect. Because it's difficult to precisely aim anything towards them through all the roots and moss.
Please don't throw any area effects.
But if you want to just huck a fireball in the middle of the room, that doesn't have any penalties. But
I could, but I don't want to burn my teammates.
I didn't
So I'll
ask
go-
how big the room was.
I said
I
fireball.
No, but I'm pretty sure concealment doesn't work against magic missile.
I don't believe it does, unless that's changed in second. That's kind of the express purpose of magic missile.
So I will go ahead and since I only have 2 actions left, I will use a 2-action magic missile for it.
Multiple action magic missile?
Magic Missile is really cool, and I should check it out later. But you focus, and as you move into the room, with an incantation, let forth a first bolt and a second bolt of energy, weaving unerringly towards your target, which is which doggo?
It'd be the one right over here, the one
Okay,
back.
the one on the your
To the left
southern.
of Rogish over
Okay.
there.
So roll me that damage.
Okay, so that's going to be 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 for it being a level 1 spell, so 7.
It gets 1 per dart.
Oh, per dart? So
Yeah,
8.
so 8. It's d4 plus 1 for each dart that you shoot.
No, but I also get plus 1 per spell level because I have dangerous
so
sorcery.
that's a thing that you have. Okay,
Yes.
then you're right then. I didn't know you were factoring that
Yes.
in already. I thought you were saying 4 and 2 are what the d4s were.
Okay.
Okay, then yeah, then 7 damage.
Yes.
And as the bolt connects with this wolf, as each of them do, you see it shudder a bit, and it pushes in against its terribly plague-ridden body, but doing very little, really. Not that it resists, just that these things are massively overgrown and muscled. Again, empowered by whatever this disease or curse may be.
Damn you, Nurgle!
Adelpha.
I think they still have light on them, though, right?
They do, yes.
Yeah, okay.
The light doesn't go away unless
I know.
whoever casts light casts it on something
Okay.
else.
So I am also going to move up 10 feet so that I can see what's going on in the room.
And yeah, you can kind of see what's going on
I
in the
can
room.
kind of see what's going on in the room. And then I am going to try and puzzle out. So they're blind. I'm going to try and really look for weaknesses. I'm going to look for what they are, kind of if they have the same exploding tendencies as the
Make
dogs
me
outside.
A nature. Oh, I make the nature check actually. What is your nature modifier to recall knowledge?
5.
The 5.
Hopefully they're muscly wolves and not boom wolves.
Looking at these, they look very similar to the wolf that attacked the caravan, just with a much further stage of the mutation, causing all of their hair to fill out. And you can tell that they will be able to spit forth a much stronger version of the bile line that the one that attacked the caravan had. So standing in a line here, probably inadvisable.
Okay, I am going to tell the party that, and then for my last action, move back behind this wall. Don't send him on!
Oh god, they can spit like the other one.
She backs back up into the corner a little bit, trying to get out of the literal line of fire here. So this northernmost wolf is the one that was attacked by both of you. And as you both came in, neither of you really landed a meaningful hit on it. So it's gonna high-low rather, go down the tables how I always do. It is going to lash out towards Marn with his shield raised. What is your AC?
21.
Good news is that blocks the vast majority of the tunnel in here. And it does indeed completely fail to get its jaws around this. While it's kind of stifling your offense, it's also giving you a fantastic defense. The
Boom.
shield is great when there's only like 3 feet of you the thing can attack.
Yep.
But it is just going to snap forward again for math. And the second hit is going to land as it just forces itself past your shield just through its sheer bulk alone.
Shield block.
seemingly. And quickly,
It's gonna have to cheer through that thing to
put
get
all
to
the force you
me.
can into this shield, and it's going to hit you for 14 damage. What's your shield hardness?
Jesus Christ. 3.
So it's going to hit you for 11 damage, and you and your shield are both going to take 11 damage.
Alrighty, so I'm down to 19 and Jesus. Okay, so 11 damage. It's at the broken threshold.
Okay, so yeah, it is now half as useful, and
Oh, it actually serves a purpose.
well, the broken threshold, a shield that only blocks 3. I'm pretty sure now if you were to block with it again, it only blocks 1. Its hardness is halved, and since it only gives you 1 AC while you're blocking, I'm pretty sure it still gives you 1 AC.
Okay,
But
I
will
thought a
double
broken
check
item
that.
just didn't work anymore. Like you couldn't use it. for
No,
anything.
you can use it. It's just less effective. You
Ah.
can't use it anymore is 0, at which point it is completely destroyed.
Yeah. Okay.
And when it is completely destroyed, it can't do anything. So let me see. Broken condition is a condition that affects objects. Let me move this over here so I'm not talking with the microphone. A broken object can be used for its normal function and does not grant bonuses. Okay, so yeah, it's only armor is what I'm thinking.
Okay,
of.
that's what I thought so. Okay.
So otherwise, it actually can't be used at all.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. It's just armor that loses efficacy.
So it just literally chews through the shield
It
and bites
actually
chunks out of
chews
it before it
entirely
gets to my
through your
arm.
shield, yes.
I
And
don't
your
think your shield can break off a one hit, can it?
It has 1 hit point left, but the
you were
broken
thinking of
threshold.
dents, which was a really dumb mechanic that was removed entirely.
Okay.
That is no longer a thing. Dents are not a thing. Dents were
broken
a
threshold
thing.
is 6, so if it gets me down to 6, if it gets the shield down to 6 hit points, then the shield stops working.
Gotcha.
Like I still have it. It's just like half. The parts that I would block with are not there anymore.
straps.
It is a broken. It has been actually broken through.
Yeah.
So it cannot. It's exactly what he said. It cannot be used at all. And as the wolf pushes through this and manages to get its jaws onto you, like the one that is latched onto Rolgish, it rips and tears, dealing an additional 5 damage, and also giving you 1 persistent acid damage as it just exposes you to more of this ichor. Now it is your turn, good sir. Marn and Rolgish, you're on deck. You are both being savaged by massive cancer wolves.
I'm ready.
Tore my shield to
They
pieces.
actually just ripped through your shield
and
is now
currently ripping through me.
through you. Yeah.
All right, Marn will kind of incoherently yell a bit, maybe a tinge of panic in his voice. And he's going to set the wolf is kind of torn into his arm where the shield used to be. He's just kind of set the point of the sword into it and just push into it with as much force as he can muster. So this is a power attack.
All right.
Hero point.
That's a hero point.
That's a hero
That
point.
was
Is
a
what that is. That
solid
was
one right there.
One's
Oh,
coming out.
goodbye.
That die's gone forever.
Got
It's
another one
gone
here
forever. Next
somewhere.
D20.
There we go. I got one. That is better. That's 24.
24 will hit. 24 will absolutely hit.
All right, so D8 the first.
I'd be worried if it didn't.
D8 the second.
I
I'm
would
worried
be
already
worried.
as it is. D8 the third. I'm gonna blow the talisman on this.
Oh, and the table
Ooh, and
apparently.
your elbow. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's,
right?
you got to trying to get in flavor here, trying to get into character. Just
Yeah.
ripping your arm apart. So you activate the potency crystal. You do that?
Does that cost an action? No, it's free.
No, it's free, but for reference, you do it first because it adds to your attack too.
Yeah,
But
I was thinking of the damage die the whole time. So.
yeah, but
I thought it was just damage.
It is. No,
It's
it
plus
makes
one
it
hit
plus 1
also.
striking. So it gives you an extra damage die and +1 to attack. So anyway, how much
Is that
damage
a
do you deal?
single-use thing?
Yeah,
It's a
it's
single use thing. He has it for this round.
So that's 14.
So you will deal 14 damage as you push your sword into this wolf, which again damages it, but it's very sturdy. Even with all the force you can put behind it, you can only drive the sword a few inches into this thing's hide.
Man.
Where going from leather, it seems almost like stone trying to push through just raw sheets of muscle that have warped underneath this thing in a massive knotted balls of near natural armor.
Well, I've got another action left. Can I? So is this thing like still latched onto me?
No, it's not like grabbing you by any means. You
Okay.
you can move away. You can still move freely. It's just when it bites you, it just rips pretty ferociously for additional damage.
Okay, so I'm gonna step.
Can't step in difficult terrain.
Oh, I will move then.
All right. And as you move up alongside this, it's already fully focused on attacking you. It can't rip through you further.
Good. That's a good thing.
So-
So then I'm going to, heeding Adelpha's shouted warning, I'm gonna slide to try to spread out a little bit so that a
So,
single line won't.
As
catch
you
anyone.
do, you take 1 more damage from the persistent acid, and because it's at the end of your turn.
Oh yeah.
So and then you roll to. I'm trying to do this all right. You
No,
roll
no.
to see if it ends.
Does not end.
That was nearly a 1, nearly a 19, and then it ended up.
To be fair, 1 doesn't matter. You don't critically fail.
Well,
flat
yeah, but
checks,
still,
so.
it was kind of a
It teetered along the edge
Yeah.
of good
Yeah.
and bad.
Roll geesh.
All right. We are going to take our happy little dragon stance and scootaloo all the way to the backside of the wolf that I tried to attack on the last turn.
Right. So the
Is that
same.
the other one?
Oh, the back. So
Flanking.
go all the way around to flanking. Okay, you're gonna move
Oh.
all the way
It's
around.
2 actions, but I get 15 foot per movement.
Right, because you ignored the first step of difficult terrain.
Yep.
So you circle around here. what would be comical were the situation not dire, almost is like crab stance around behind to take up a position flanking this wolf with Marn. And from your newfound direction, this wolf is flat-footed to your attacks.
And we are going to flurry of blows and attempt to break its back legs.
Kick through the dog.
So, 25 plus or minus 2 to its AC.
It's flat-footed, which lowers its AC by 2.
Yeah, so that's a 25.
A 25 will hit.
All right. And that's a hard 22.
A hard 22.
Hard 20 with a 2, plus 2.
Hard 20 with a plus 2. That is absolutely going to crit on this creature as you kick into it. But you as you move around, you land with one foot and set it up as it reels a bit from a powerful first strike to hit it incredibly hard with the second kick. So hard, in fact, that you crush through several of these tumors and pustules, which erupt in a wave of ichor over your body. Make me a reflex save.
I just rolled a 20, so... Oh, 20 into a 19. Yeah, I passed that.
What?
That's
Might critical.
27.
Does not critically succeed.
Jesus
but
That's
Christ.
a
You will take half.
DC. Holy shit.
A 19 on the die as a monk did not
So
critically succeed.
you are able to pull yourself away and avoid most of this, but you still take 4 acid damage from the torrent of ichor as the tumors erupt.
That's my reward.
When you crit it, it hits you.
Yep.
But
Okay,
give me
so...
all your damage because it might be
Fort
pretty
save.
tasty.
I know it... Yeah, so... First one. 4.
Just
No, I only
4.
roll 1 dice. I rolled a 1
Oh, yeah.
on a
Oh,
D10.
like- And then there's the critical hit.
10.
4, 10.
A 1 and a 2
You
on my
guys cannot
D10s.
roll damage dice literally at all. So, I've realized, looking back at Fall of Plaguestone so far, is the recurring problem is you generally hit things and then roll exclusively 1s and 2s for damage.
I haven't had too bad a luck. That was actually
You've
fairly
had a-
average.
That's
day.
actually...
You've
I
had a
think
couple that you've cut through real well.
That's
Yeah.
only my second crit this entire time.
But the ones you've
They've
struggled
always
on,
been
everyone
poor.
keeps rolling 1s and 2s for damage. So you do manage to kick through it pretty hard, and the wolf certainly could not take another salvo of blows like that, but it is pretty sturdy. And this almost tumor armor it has gives it a superficial layer you can burst through that doesn't really critically wound the thing. You can't hero point damage.
I was going to ask if I could
No.
hero point it.
But at the end of your turn, you take 1 more acid damage, bringing you down to 14, and see if it ends.
10.
Oh, I didn't take off the 4 for the explosion yet. You're correct.
It ends. That's a 17.
Perfect. But somehow, getting washed by more acid washes off the original acid.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just fully burns off
Different
the parts
kinds of
you that it
acid.
was.
There was a chemical reaction. They canceled each other out.
Sure. It washes off the parts of you that were already covered entirely, and it can't burn any further. It just kind of sloughs all that skin off.
Well,
so.
it's why the wolf doesn't dissolve itself, because it has competing types of acid.
There you go. Exactly.
I like
So
it.
it's
I
not
like
just,
it.
that's why it's a wolf and not just a pile of goo.
That's it.
That makes sense to me. But that does bring us back around to the largely unharmed wolf, who just follows as you move around it, which I guess could serve for a lot of the damage as it was ripping into you, and you just let it keep going, and it's just going to continue near mindlessly just ripping at you. And what is your AC?
18.
18, it is going to hit. And you are going to take 9 damage. 9 damage as it bites into you. But as it gets a good grip, as you're dodging back from the
I mean,
first wolf,
it doesn't matter what the damage is because I'm going to ferocity it.
it's going to rip through you. And you just simply refuse to die.
I'm letting this chew on me. I have a target.
And
It can do its worst.
You do take 1 persistent acid damage back again as it savages you.
On my turn, right?
On your turn, and it's just going to attempt to bite you again, but as it's almost thrown off by the fact that you were just moving away from it,
I'm just
paying
ignoring
no
it.
heed, and it can only mount so much of an offensive. It doesn't manage to do any further harm to you. Shalariel and Adelpha, you up next.
Alrighty. I want to know what this is.
You want to make a nature check? You trained in nature?
No, I'm not training
You gotta be
nature.
trained in nature.
So,
You want to know what this is?
I want to know what this is. but it kind of looks somewhat undead.
How long does your focus thing only gives you that for like 1 round? Or
1
something?
minute.
Oh, 1 minute.
If
Yeah,
I
and then
remember
you waited
correctly.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, it kind of looks undead. I will try to roll the flat DC check to try to hit it with produce flames. So
Okay. So you will.
that's a ranged attack as well. So
You will cast out a small amount of fire trying to deal some damage here.
yeah, but I have to roll the DC 5 to
We
hit.
got hit first, then you
Okay.
roll the flat check.
Alright.
I guess the order is largely
Okay, well then that's 11.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a no.
11.
3 on
For
the dice.
attack.
Oh, 3 on
Yeah,
the die. Yeah, the flame is going to just burst through a small section of the wet roots and mosses, blasting them aside for a brief moment, but they're so damp and dead that they can't even catch fire from this. And what's that leave you with? An action?
Yeah, one action, and I'll move a little closer to the pool, but still not in it.
Yeah, up to the banks of it, trying to make some amount of space for Adelpha to come in and not have
It's
to
like,
worry about
they're not looking too good.
a blast. Everything in the room looks pretty wounded. Rogish is barely, as you come in, Rogish is barely up. Marn's quite injured. They're both covered in some visibly boiling ichor. But the wolf, in between them, is pretty equally poorly off. Other wolf looks mostly okay.
Okay, so I will move 10 feet. I kind of crawl my way in again. And,
Well, you're probably
And
just
I-
stooped over a little bit.
well, dwarves aren't actually that short.
dwarves are like 5
I keep
6,
forgetting
like,
they're not that
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, they're
I'm
not
actually
small.
might be taller than myself.
Very possibly
She is.
is taller
She
than
is.
Lionel, yeah.
And so I remember from last time where Rolgish seemed, immovable as a movable man, and like I remember, and then he just like flat out
Yeah.
So I'm going to start this healing like almost kind of like, oh my, he's doing it again.
He's doing that thing he does.
Oh,
So I am going to cast a 2 action heal on Rolgish.
All right. And
Is that I just get do I have to?
you don't have to target them. That just happens.
That's just-
It's not a
okay,
target
okay,
of things
okay,
that you
I
just
couldn't
roll through.
remember.
You can't
Okay.
miss your heal.
Well, I would hope not. That would be terrible. Okay, so that's 3, and then it's +8. So
Yep, plus 8.
11.
So he gets plus 11
that puts me to 12.
health back. Yeah, bringing him from 1 to 12.
There's
Uh,
a lot of 11s happening
there
to
is
me on
lots of
both
11s.
sides.
Yeah, renewing a good amount of his vigor. And as always, of course, shout outs to Sirenscape for having the super
Yeah.
great soundboard for this, and for having a full Plaguestone specific sound set, which is pretty cool. Because all of this background ambience here is exactly for this room specifically on Sirenscape, which is neat. But that wolf in between Marn and Rolgish, not really wise enough to change targets or realize the position it's in, just continues lashing forwards towards Marn. It's busted through his shield, and while Marn is pushing it back fairly well, with the shield down, it's surprisingly unable to push through the sword, defending you more effectively than the board was. But it continues trying, and still nothing, and that's not a 20, so you managed to fend it off for the time being.
Okay.
Marn, you're up. Rogish, you're next.
All right. I managed to get through that. I still got that dang persistent damage to worry about. Okay. I wonder if that pool's flammable. It looks kind of flammable.
It looks oily.
It's probably a bit-
Oily and faint glowing with a yellow light.
Oh, it's probably
like a greenish yellow light. It looks like a pool of Mountain Dew.
it's
glimmering
definitely
Mountain
flammable
Dew.
then. Yeah, might have been a good idea to light that on fire before we all came in here. All right. Well, in the meantime, so Marn is going to 1% damage. He's going to do it to me again when he bites me and takes me down anyway. So he's just going to. It seems to be working. So he's going to take this sword and just drive it deeper, grab the hilt, and just twist as that's in there, just to basically try to gore a core out of this
Put
thing.
the wolf off of you. And dead
You're
slightly
drilling
further
its body.
away.
I'm basically drilling its body.
Rogish is
with a
kicking
sword.
it onto your sword as you just target it.
So that's power attack. That's a 15. Flat-footed?
Even flat-footed at 15 is not going to be quite enough to force the sword through.
Too much
as
movement. You can't get a hold of the hilt to twist
Yeah,
it.
as you're trying to keep yourself protected from the onslaught of massive jaws that could pretty easily latch onto your entire torso.
Okay. So in that case, I don't really have anything else to do at -10. I don't think I could try to intimidate it. I'm going. Yeah, he's just going to just wordlessly just scream at it.
Pure bestial rage. He speaks that language, probably.
A little bit of desperation mixed in, but yes, essentially.
Okay.
Let's try this intimidate, demoralize, or I'm not too terribly demoralizing. That's a intimidate. There it is. 13.
Charisma, unfortunately, not a thing he has. And while he roars in rage, it's almost a pained rage as much as a terrifying rage.
Yeah,
It doesn't really land how you wanted it to.
A little bit of my panic bleeds in there.
And you take 1 acid damage and roll to see if that stops.
It does stop.
Hard
Well,
20.
it brings you down to 12, and then that stops.
Actually heals from that note.
Rogish.
The acid cauterizes.
All right, so
And then the wolf that's just kind of wholly attending to you.
seeing as I am in drastic pain, but also slightly less drastic pain, we're gonna go on ahead and deliver another flurry of blows into the hindquarters of the one between us.
You've nearly brought this one down, and it's working.
Gonna see what I can do. Give it a couple more quick kicks. That's a hard one. That's not gonna do anything. That's a hard one. I cannot afford that right
Deliver
now.
unto me the tokens. Did you just roll another one?
1 into a 1, baby.
Stop! You hero pointed one last turn.
18.
Total?
That's a 16
For the second
for my
attack.
second attack in the flurry. 18 is a +2, and whatever its AC is -2.
All right.
I would assume
18 will hit its flat
I would
footed.
hope that an 18 hits the
That
flat
sounds like I was
footed.
making sure. Are you adding 2 from flat footed? Because like 18 will hit its flat footed. From the position you have
Instead of falling, you break dance.
13 damage.
13 damage. That will be enough to bring the first wolf down.
I'm just sitting here spinning in place.
Yeah, just kicking as Martin fights for his damn life. And then you
So,
Is he a dancer?
you take 1 acid damage.
that was just a flurry.
Oh, you still have 2 actions left. You're right.
So my next action will be go out.
Are you gonna leave?
No, I'm going to go up into the corner.
I know you
I don't
point
know.
the board that's directly in front of you.
Over here.
Okay, that seems like it'd be
I'm looking over there because that's
Not the
up
dog,
right
though.
side up for me.
All right, so up into the northern nook of this cave here, just
We
making
should turn
some
this around.
amount of distance from the wolf, trying to get a little further away.
And the last action, obviously it's not going to do anything, but I'm just going to waste a little bit of time kind of. That's 2 actions to take the acid off. So
2
I'm-
actions.
You
to
can
try
start.
to
I
treat
can
it.
start.
You actually can't. I looked that up. That's a thing you expressly can't do in second
Ah.
edition. You can't spread a multi-action activity over runs.
All right, so we're going to
it's
waste
something
an
that has to be
action.
focused on in a single round.
Yeah,
Should
I'm
you
gonna
scream at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna waste an action. I'm gonna throw my torch to the other side of the room,
Okay.
Where the pool is.
hitting over here directly behind the wolf.
All right, so you toss your torch through the roots and moss, and it kind of catches and bounces in the dirt here, and
Just
rolls
making
to a
noise.
stop on the other side of the chamber near the pool, close to Shalario. So fortunately,
And I need to roll the
and then you then roll 6% damage.
7.
Okay, so you are still burning from this ichor, from this acidic goo that comes out of this wolf. This wolf now, as you run away from it, it's not like committed to fighting you, but it's already attacking you, and you didn't get terribly far. But it is going to move to the slightly closer and the now cleared Marn, as the wolf in front of it drops down, making it much clearer that there is a target with a splintered plank of wood attached to his arm available. And as it moves over, it's going to go in for the kill and roll a natural 1. So
It's helpful.
somehow This is working. Marn's holding his own here pretty solidly.
It is blind.
Yeah, it's totally blind. It's moving. That's right. It doesn't see you. It just smells all of the blood and the wound that's happened nearby from both you and the wolf, and it smells something interesting this direction, closer as the scent of Rogish fades away. Shalariel, and then Adelpha.
I want to cast Burning Hands in a 15-foot cone.
All
But
right.
try to keep it
Yeah, 15
away from.
cone just barely.
Yeah, I want to get away from Marn over
past
there.
Marn. Leave
Just
this fire
raising
out
the
to the
ambient
side.
Yeah, it's a
temperature.
reflex save, DC 18.
All right, and as you.
It's for negating, of
you-
course.
Is it a basic reflex save?
Yeah,
or is it
basic
negating?
reflex save.
Okay, that's not negating. It's because negating would be it ignores it entirely on a success. So what's the DC?
18.
It's a pretty swift wolf. It wills. It does, but it still does fail. It doesn't see this coming at all. It literally can't see this coming. It doesn't have eyes, so it takes the full damage.
Oh, okay. 2d6.
Burning
Which
Hands
is
D6 now,
8.
baby.
But I also get +1, so 9.
9 fire damage. All right, that's doing a pretty good job of starting to wear this beast down, but still, it's largely
And-
unharmed, and
Any-
it's now
I
pretty
still-
focused on trying to eat your fighter.
Still
You
have
got
one more action.
Any effect on
I'll-
the oily pool?
I'll pop up shield.
Well, it would have shot it over the pool. It doesn't,
Okay.
It doesn't seem to, from the heat, doesn't seem to catch or
No
anything.
fumes.
Okay, that's good.
No
I was
fumes, yeah.
concerned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's no
I know, I thought the
visible,
same
no
thing, too. I
visible
was like,
interaction. Yeah, you
This
quickly
might
cast
just
the
kill
canvas,
us.
put a shield up. Adelpha and
Okay,
Marn,
from the
you're up
outside
next.
of the tree. No,
I am going to aim my next heal at Marn and start incanting another 2. I'm just going down the line here. I have a checklist.
And you need some help. And you need some help.
So you said another D8 plus 8 healing Marn's way.
Yeah, so 10.
Woo, up to
He
22.
will heal for 10. And as he's doing a pretty solid job of holding the line here,
Somehow.
Yay.
one action.
I will. Ooh, actually, I think I will also try and intimidate this dog. Bad dog.
No.
Bad.
Bad dog!
dog.
No! Stop it! Get PTSD from getting bitten once for like D4
Exactly, it
damage
was
in
a
the
bad.
field.
It was a bad dog.
hurt.
It was a bad dog. Okay, so intimidation. Oh, okay. Well, so that's actually only a 10.
Yeah, it's not at all phased by you.
Well,
You're
I
not
am
very
very
intimidating.
intimidating.
Marn.
Damage.
Well, now
you
knows
should
you a
next.
lot. You're there.
Yeah, that's fine too. I mean,
All right.
This is working
This seems to
spectacularly
be
well.
somehow working. I guess he's kind of getting used to the rhythm of these things. As this thing kind of keeps trying to snap at him. This time, as it snaps at him, he's just going to kind of try to predict the rhythm. His panic is coming down a little bit. He's being healed. That's good. He feels the light of Saren Ray. He feels as though I need to redeem myself. I can feel my salvation coming. So as it goes to snap at him, he's going to try to shove that sword right down its throat and bypass that stupid tumor armor.
All right.
That is a 21.
21 will definitely connect, and that will definitely bypass the stupid tumor armor.
That's going to be a... do math, Nick. 9.
For 9 damage. Slowly but surely, this beast is being worn down, but it is truly hardy.
It's wearing on me, too.
Anything else? Or-
I do have another attack. I do have another action. I'm not going to hit anything with an attack on it. So I guess at this point, he's feeling a little exultant. So he'll actually try another shout, intimidate it down, because he's like, he's got it this time. It's like, yeah, eat it.
One's down, we're doing this!
That's not good. It's not terrible. It's a 15.
15, no, still not enough to intimidate the near mindless blind dog that's just savaging forward. Rogish, and then dog.
I see an opening.
Uh-huh.
It has turned its back. So I will take the back.
Alright, and you will
2 actions, move 4 spaces over.
rush forward and once again take
Get
up
up
the flanking
behind it.
positions here.
And we're going to give this one the same treatment we've given every single creature I have fought up to this point. We're going to kick it twice.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much what you do at this point.
16.
16 is not gonna do it.
With flat-foot?
Not with flat-footed.
Man, these guys are tough.
They
Damn
are
tumor armor,
solid.
man.
20.
20 will do it. 20 will
Why
absolutely
is my
do it.
second one consistently landing?
It's the
What is
follow-up, man.
happening?
It's a setup.
Yep.
All right. Minimum damage again.
Which is
4.
so you catch it. It's gotta make a fort save. It makes the fort save.
It's
kicking-
impossible to fail that fort save, apparently.
Well, it's only 17, and he's. I mean, you got a decent chance of failing it. It's just it hasn't yet. It's not horrifically low, and this dog is just going to continue fighting. Oh yeah, you take 1 persistent as well.
That's not anything important. So.
Alright, so and you are still feeling this ichor burning on you. So this wolf is just going to continue savaging towards Marn, who is mounting a fairly effective offense and defense here, and the thing's not really smart enough to look elsewhere.
Yeah, great.
So it's just going to keep on trying. Your AC 20?
19. Have you been rolling against 20 this entire time?
No,
Or did it just
but
critical me?
are you sure it's 19 and not 20?
Well.
Does a piece of wood still
Because
count
that's
as
a
a shield?
29 to hit.
I think that very well might critical me, unfortunately.
So it does manage to. You can only hold off for so long.
it just
and
eats its way up the
This
sword
wolf finally does.
and gets my arm.
In light
and
of whatever
keeps
pain it's
going.
suffering, just force its sheer mass upon you. And you are going to take 26 damage.
Oh, I'm down.
And at that, Marn is going to go down and to dying 2, as it was a crit. The deadliest of mechanics.
Dun, dun,
The attacks
dun.
most likely to bring you down are also by far the most lethal. Now, as it feels you kind of drop limp in its jaws, it lets go, cognizant enough to know that it's still in danger, and turns around to. This is worded weirdly, but it doesn't make sense if you can use that. The way it's worded, the trigger for Rip and Tear is it dealt damage to a creature with its jaws during the previous action. So the way it's worded, it can bite you and then turn around and rip and tear on roll gauge, but that doesn't make any sense. So he's going to attempt to bite you. What's
18.
18? But he's going to manage to get you as well. In a deathly fervor, the most dangerous animal is the cornered one on death's door. And you are going to take math 11 damage,
I am unconscious.
which will just be enough to bring you down as well. Fortunately, not to a critical hit, but unfortunately, while you are still taking that poison damage. As it feels you go, it moves towards Shalariel and Adelpha, unsure of what exactly the source of that blast of fire was, but snarling as it comes upon an elf and a dwarf casting spells in the back. So, Shalariel, and then Adelpha.
I hope you got something against this thing. I'm gonna take a 3-action magic missile against it. I hope we can do something about these guys falling.
You can do something about
The 2 spellcasters turn to bickering.
So I have to do magic
Panic
missile
screaming.
Focusing up on your magic as it approaches as well as you can, push out a series of 3 arcane bolts.
Yeah. So, okay, that's gonna be 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 2 is 11 plus 1 is 12.
For
Total of 12.
a total of 12 damage. Adelpha, this wolf is on death's door, but it is still limping forward angrily
It's alright, you have to
towards
cut
your
through the elf before it gets...
new elfin friend. And no part of this starts with B. Tumor, wolf, you can't die to this, it's the loss.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figure.
Bubonic.
So
Black.
I grimace and look apologetically at my new elfin friend. And I start a 3-action heal.
And as you weave up the strongest of Saren Ray's healing magic that you can muster,
That's all we
Or
need. That's perfect, actually.
One health.
that is actually optimal right
That's the
now.
best thing that could have happened.
One is going to wake up Marn,
Yes.
still in grave pain and prone,
Ugh.
and it's going to wake up Rolgish, still in grave pain and prone, and restore a single hit point to the snarling wolf in front of you. Marn, as you awaken, you see this wolf near dead, limping forward, snapping at Shalariel and Adelpha, and you see Rolgish seemingly unconscious on the ground 10 feet away from you as well.
All right, I'm not gonna let Elri's fiance go down on my watch again.
Not to literally the first combat after she joins the party.
Can't do this. I can't let Elrith die and then see his fiance die because I couldn't protect either one of them. So he's going to just roll up onto his knees, and he's just going to lunge out with that sword, just to drive that sword into its hindquarters.
That has a concealment chance if
And-
you're actually lunging.
Oh, you have lunge, right?
I do.
If you do lunge, it does get the concealment chance. It's DC 5. It's a 20. You have to roll to hit, and then you have a 20% chance to miss. Because anywhere from adjacent,
You could.
they are concealed whether
You
it's
can
a
do it.
bus.
Yeah, you
Just
got
hit it.
this. Just power
Yeah,
attack
just-
lunge.
Just hit it.
Just don't miss.
I can't power attack lunge. I have to lunge is a single strike,
Oh, interesting.
which means I can lunge twice.
Is lunge its own action?
Lunge is
Like
its
a
own
separate
action.
Oh,
It is
okay.
a strike with
So,
plus
yeah.
5 reach.
Then you can't. Yeah, you can't lunge power attack.
Um,
There is actually a lot less combining things into because a lot of things are their own actions. So you lunge forward.
all right.
Come on, Marn.
Oh gosh.
Damn
Do you have a hero?
No, I burned it
No.
already.
That was a hard one.
He has 2 actions.
How many nat ones have you guys rolled in this fight?
Many.
4 and 2 of them were on the same turn by me.
So far, none, but
So-
really low.
I've rolled one.
So just like blindly panicking, lunging forward, second attack is a 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and I'm so inept. Like,
Roll
ah.
me.
You're still drowsy.
You awaken on the floor to this that
The
you can
orc
barely make out.
Runs heavy in my veins. I hop up. If I ignore the first 5 feet, can I step?
Yes, if you ignore the first 5 feet, you can step.
Just doesn't matter.
Yeah, not that it matters here, but for future evidence, because you ignore the first 5 feet, that means you can step because you ignore it.
Yeah. And just with a guttural roar, come up behind this thing, pounce on it, and just start driving my knee into it. That's a 10. The second hit has not failed me yet. It failed me. That's
It's
a
just
16.
Oh.
And you lash out once and twice fruitlessly in this thing's hide before passing out once more to the acid,
Which does not stop.
which does not stop. The wolf,
So now you're technically dying one, wounded one?
he's wounded 2, dying 1.
Oh.
So he is in the bad place.
Oh,
He's
I'm
dying
wounded
2,
1.
wounded 1 with persistent damage. He's in the bad times. This is what happened to Elrith, more or less. But this wolf, as Rogish pulls himself up and just kind of launches 2 feet forward before collapsing again in a bloodied heap, clearly a death's door, lashes forwards to the caster. The mage, Shalariel in front of him. What is your AC?
18.
18.
Pretty good, pretty good.
It's gonna hit you.
Pop that shield, man.
No, I used
Cast
3
it
actions.
This turn. Use 3 actions. Magic missile.
I tried to kill it instead of protecting myself.
And it is going to bite into you for 14 damage. And as it gets its jaws on you, as all the wolves before have done, rip and tear and bring Shalariel down. In addition, dealing 1 persistent acid damage. As it moves towards Adelpha. The last line of defense.
Okay, well,
This is fine.
this is fine.
Adelpha. And then Marn, who is still conscious now.
So, if can I aim like a burning hands up slightly so it doesn't? I mean, I guess it wouldn't really. It would hit. Can I not hit Rolgish?
In the confines of this cave, not
Well, no.
really.
Okay.
I don't think you can
It's-
avoid hitting all
You-
of us. Actually,
You're gonna hit
Yeah.
a minimum of one party member.
Okay.
Solarial's dying to your left, Marn is like barely up on your right, and Rogish is directly in front of you, all within 10 feet.
Okay.
You're at a not here.
Yeah, it's not a good spot.
Okay, I am going to rage. You've never seen such rage on this woman. And I am going to pull out my scimitar of awesomeness. And I'm going to strike with my I'm going to poke with my scimitar.
Still with no idea how a scimitar is supposed to function.
very in
Draws it
character.
out and stabs it forward.
Yes, quite. With not a very good roll, I would say.
Luckily, you still have one more attack.
I could.
Or one more action.
I could re-roll it. Well, I don't
You
really want to
could
re-roll. If
re-roll
I'm
that.
dying, I don't want to. These guys, it's fine.
It's gotta do persistent damage. If it gets us to dying, we're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
In fact, I'll probably use that to auto stabilize.
Alright, give me your.
Well, not till your turn, right?
Oh, yeah, your turn.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
use it, yeah.
Yeah. And then so that's two. I have one action left. I'm
Yep, draw
actually.
and swing is 2 actions.
I will cast shield on myself.
And you as well wanting you. It's all.
Yeah.
You have
Please,
this
no.
horrifying creature bearing down on you, and you're gonna defend yourself as well as you possibly can. Marn.
Oh boy. All right, here we go. So I'm going to move behind it.
That should be a flanking position.
It is a flanking position.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to look at the specifics of heroic recovery, but it doesn't matter right now.
That's okay.
And she has a scimitar out.
She does.
And I attacked.
The dog is focused on
Did I
her.
have to hit or no? Do I have to hit with?
No,
it?
you're flanking.
Okay.
It's flat-footed
Okay.
to you. You don't have to hit it.
And he's just gonna take this. He's just gonna take his sword. He's kind of got his bearing up a bit, and sort of like the corners of his vision are blackening, focused on the wolf. Here we go. He's gonna come up and just try to drive this sword right. I guess technically I'm driving a sword up his butt. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm trying to think of a way to do it that's not that, but
You kind of got it.
I kind of got it right there. I mean, I'm gonna grab the tail. Let's go for it. That's how I'm gonna get the power attack going. That's an 18 on a flanked wolf.
18 will hit a flanked wolf. And Marn, what? I don't imagine you can do less than 5 damage.
No, actually, I did 15.
What do you do?
All right, so the wolf slathers up at Adelpha, and then it'll kind of freeze, and a light will emerge from its mouth as Marn's sword has transfixed the entire body, and it still has Adelpha's light spell cast on it. So
That's true.
the light of Saren Ray will burst forth from the wolf as it shudders, staggers, and then is drawn out as a bloody, barely conscious Marn is kind of standing there. Are you okay?
I'm surprisingly okay. The rest of us, not so much.
Rolgish.
Is dead.
Yeah.
What? Dying
What,
too?
Dying 1,
Dying
wounded
one,
2,
wounded two,
persistent
persistent
damage. If
damage.
you fail the dying check, you die. If you make it, you become conscious and then go back to dying.
Hard
for
20.
Persistent damage.
13.
And
So-
die for the persistent
Yep.
damage.
Hard 20, I would survive.
Yeah, roll geese.
Not getting back up from that one.
Oh my god.
Dies
I don't know what to do about
as
that.
the second
There's not
victim.
really
I can't
anything
give you
you
one?
can.
The second, even if he stabilizes, like if he passes, he still dies because he still has
Yeah.
persistent damage on him. Shalariel.
Golly.
Make me
Okay,
a
I am a
dying
dying,
check.
so that's 18.
So you stabilize, but then immediately go back down to the persistent damage
If only I could use one of these to get to.
roll to see
Stop
if
that.
the persistent damage ends.
13. No.
So he would
You can re-roll those.
he would
Those
still,
are
but I mean, at
D20s.
this point you could be like a Delpha.
Yeah, I can. I can try and. I don't have any heal spells, but I could try and. But that takes 10 minutes.
You have to
back-
double action.
If you have enough
assist.
medicine, you can try to give
You can-
him
yeah,
extra
you can
flat
use
checks.
2 actions to try to stop
Okay,
the
I mean,
burns.
I will
quickly.
try. Oh,
So
what the
you-
heck? Just steal the d20. I see how it is.
It was my lime green d20. I didn't want the.
Oh.
It's been
You
rolling a lot of
didn't
ones. I didn't want it to.
So
infect
was
you.
everyone's D20s.
Yeah. Don't say that right now.
Well, that's a 2, so technically not a 1.
So,
Welcome to the session. You're dead again. Yep.
Barn, you have assurance.
I do have assurance.
So, you can give him another flat check.
I'm gonna totally do that. I'm
Roll
not.
a D20 of Shalariel. Look, he passed. Wow, he did it. I don't know what it was, and I don't care.
It's a 5.
It was 15. That's exactly the DC for persistent damage to stop ticking on you. So you are able just barely to.
I swear, if you going down again with in Martin's just sitting down with Sir Kenrith, and we're both just drinking ourselves to death. Just
Yeah.
adventuring shit's just not worth it.
So, holy crap! I literally don't know what you do about persistent damage in second edition.
Just
You don't know.
don't roll bad.
I mean, that fight you rolled fucking atrocious. There were like 7 or 8 nat ones across the party, and not a ton of rolls. A load of 2s and 3s. Like, I mean, I guess sometimes the dice gods just hate you because those rolls were fucking atrocious. And then most of the attacks
Yeah.
you did land were minimum damage. Dear Lord, but still, I feel like there has to be something we can do for persistent damage that either we're missing
Well,
or I'm playing wrong.
I have I have 14 con, decent AC, and I have good hit dice modifiers to have the most health in the party, and I still die in 2 hits. There's not really anything you can do to stop the persistent damage from doing its job.
This is this is the part of our learning here as we test out second edition. Because I don't care about sharing numbers and whatnot. So because we're all learning. I'm new to the system too. We're all putting this together. So these wolves, of which there are 2, it's a balance for a 4-player encounter,
yeah.
hit at plus 11. So they're hitting most of you on 7 or 8 for D8 plus 4 plus D6. So average, let's even take the low side of average.
Minimum.
A 4 on the D8, a 3 on the D6. That's below average. Plus 4 is 11 damage. And then they have an action which just does D6 plus 2 more damage if their previous action was hitting you, and 1 persistent acid, which is 5. So they can, with a 70-80% chance, deal a low-balled average
Yeah.
of 16 damage.
Yeah. So basically,
And
with a lower average,
1 persistent acid.
half our health at least, and then or our casters down in 1 shot, and persistent damage on top of it.
And there's 2 of them.
Well,
And their
I
AC
have
is
28 hit
19
points,
with 45 health that has to be chucked through. So, like,
Do they have a con of 18?
Well, it doesn't matter with.
I'm curious. Like,
they don't have stats.
yeah, they
they're
don't have
monsters.
stats.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
They have a con of plus 2.
So I guess one of my question, I guess I don't know, maybe the encounter, because we might have just boneheaded the encounter too. Like, is that pool of water actually flammable? Like, would
No,
that
it
have
does
been a
nothing
way-
to help you.
Okay, all right, so
Is it even water?
well, probably
I mean, we'll
maybe
get
a little
to what
bit.
water is in a minute. But I'm just trying to figure
Well,
out.
we could
'cause
have.
Second edition is absurdly lethal right now, to the point where, like, I feel like I'm running something wrong, the level of lethality.
Well, we
But
might be
it's
able
God
to
of War
like
mode.
have used our terrain better if
There's-
we could have drawn them out and like maybe pigeonholed them in the doorway. Like we could have fought one.
But
at
you
a
said they had a
time.
line attack.
Well,
And it would
That's
take
because she
some time.
critically failed the knowledge check.
Oh, okay.
that's
They
fair.
did not have any kind of a line attack.
Well,
Okay, well, either
so
way.
to see the downside though is that doesn't really help because even if we fight in the passageway, right? We've got two people who can't see the wolf, so and only one person is in melee range.
No, draw them out.
Yeah, she thinks
so
you're saying
that
back
they're
out
in
entirely.
Yeah, they're in
So-
the passenger area. We're outside.
Yeah, you're at like
Oh,
the,
like
the
bottleneck them
entrance.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could pile up 2 or 3 of you around and stab them. I mean,
And
that,
if I
that could
hadn't
work,
healed,
but-
if I hadn't healed before people went down, like I was trying to do tactic today, like healing,
I would have
But-
just died around sooner.
but you
Yeah.
would have been crit, anyways, and
Yeah.
lost all of your health. So I could
And
have
it's not
saved
like they
that
rolled
health.
crazy dice. They only got 1 crit, critting on like 17s for most of the party. They only crit once in all their attacks.
Yeah.
But I could have waited. He would have been crit anyways. I could have waited to heal, and then I would have had an extra heal.
And then if you crit
But then
them,
there still would have been.
If
Well,
you-
there's no way to
that were
predict
dying.
a crit's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
If-
And the thing is that you actually healed me above. You healed me up to 22 health, which is
That's kinda
enough
what
to
I thought, yeah.
soak a regular hit unless
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunate
this is math and investigation right now. So you crit them on their AC 19. You need a 29, so pretty much a nat 20 generally with most of your attack rolls. Like what's everyone's attack rolls right now?
Mine-
His is
plus
10,
mine's a
mine's
10.
7.
So you crit them on 19.
Yeah.
Mine's a
Mine's
7,
Everyone
so
else
I'm a
is a
hard
nat
20.
20. So
It
even if you
seems-
do crit them, you have a DC 19 reflex save for 3d6 acid that they just automatically deal to you if you crit them. So
Which I, as a monk, still need an 11 to
let's
save
just
that.
in the interest of learning and getting a good view of Pathfinder 2's math, I am literally gonna pull up the calculator. So, how much health do you have?
30.
How much health do you have?
32.
How much health do you have?
18.
How much health do you have?
28.
So everybody to even lowballed average, I'm taking 300 d6 and 400 d8, which is below average, goes down in 2 hits. Except you, who could very easily go down in a single hit.
And did.
And did. So it will take them a total of 2, 4, 6, 7 average damage dice rolls to get through the entire party. There are 2 of them, so they can make those attacks in 3.5 rounds. And the third action doesn't really help them, so they have a full action to move to get to someone to start savaging.
Right.
Takes
We also
three-
have 3 heals.
You also have 3 heals. It takes you 3.5 rounds to bring the entire for them to bring down the whole party, assuming they
Without
hit
dice.
every attack.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, they hit most of you on like a 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have a 35% miss chance. So it's just crap napkin math. Going to 3.5 is going to take them like, let's say 140% of that amount of time. So you got 5 rounds. The average party's got 5 rounds of just flat damage that they're outputting before all of you are dead. And this is ignoring the fact that you're putting
lose efficiency as
ignoring that
people
your
go down.
efficiency is dropping as you go down. So you guys, let's say you power attack. What's your damage dice on a power attack?
With the longsword, it's 2d8 plus my strength of 4. So
Let's say 12.
figure for it is 9. Yeah, 13 actually is
Well,
the
okay,
average.
so yeah, 13. We'll even give you highball average. You do 13 damage.
Yeah.
Let's say you hit both hits of flurry of blows, and nothing else. What's your average?
13.
13. So you've got 26 damage coming out. You aren't doing damage, and you.
Oh, no,
can-
I did that for both hits. 13.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even assuming you hit both flurry of blows.
Both max damage is 26.
No, I'm saying average. So you are generally healing and supporting, and you, like, what's your burning hands and your magic missiles are usually doing on like
Burning
11 to
Hands is
12.
just 2d6. Magic Missile is a d4 plus 1 for each action.
So you're getting like 9 to 10 damage. So let's say 9-ish for you. So the group of you does, if you hit your power attack, you hit, and then we gotta go for hit chance. You have
And you
plus,
just divide by 2 if
plus
you
10
want
to hit. It's straight up divide by 2 because each of you are needing 10s or worse to
Yeah.
hit. But we'll go ahead and assume. You're doing an average of 17.5 damage. per round, assuming you can get in and do that.
Yeah.
And that means it is going to take you 2.5 rounds to bring down a single wolf.
Yeah.
So
So it's basically a coin. Assuming that we're ignoring attrition, it's a coin toss on whether.
yeah. So mathematically, like
The wolves have the advantage.
and because they have you're going every time you lose a fourth of your strength, you're losing nearly half of your damage. Where you have to do half of their health to take out half of their damage. So just like pure mathematically, walking into this cave, you even got more disadvantages because you treat the entire area as difficult terrain, and they have concealment and for range attacks. Like it's even worse than that.
Yeah.
We're just skimming this. You walk in here and have, I don't know, a 40% chance to literally not TPK.
Yeah.
Like, what? What are we missing? What are we missing, guys? The numbers don't add up here. What are we missing?
I mean, once we get leveled up, I mean, for better spells, I don't know, but the monsters
this
will
is
do more
fire
also.
damage
have helped? Like, was there a weakness
They have
that we
no
missed?
weaknesses.
Okay.
They have immunities, but they have no weaknesses.
Was it immunity piercing damage?
Probably
Immunity was acid
Yeah.
and any kind of visual effects because
Okay.
they are blind acid wolves.
Okay,
So-
I assumed they had no mind because I thought they were undead.
Did they not
No.
have a mischance being blind?
They were always adjacent to you, and their motion. They have motion sense 30 feet, which is precise. So no, they don't have any kind of a mischance because they were just given monster power to not have a mischance for the fact that they're blind. Their scent is a precise sense.
So
It's not even scent; it's friggin' motion senses.
I think what happened is this is second edition's first deal.
Well, I mean, we're missing something because the people at Paizo have way more experience with the edition that we have done exactly this amount of content of, and this is like if this was play tested, like this was table tested and played, and like I'm sure there are people at Paizo whose job is to do math, but the way I'm seeing this, like on the best, most in your favor odds conceivable, you've got with no GM fiat, you got a solid 50% TPK chance of walking into literally
Even
any
worse.
fight.
It's even worse. You're supposed to come in here after fighting the bushes.
You are supposed to come in here immediately on the aftermath of having expended everything you need to fight the bushes. This is meant to be done 2 sequential encounters. Bushes.
Are we
wolves.
supposed to be level 2 at this
You're
point?
supposed to be level 2 at this point. These are both level 2 encounters.
So let's factor in the bushes that were also a potential TPK by themselves.
I just feel like there is something large
Yeah.
that either in character building or in game running we are missing about second edition, and I'm not sure what it is.
I'm
Because
surprised that dying checks don't include your constitution modifier.
They're just flat checks.
Like, honestly, I'm
I didn't
completely
even play the
surprised.
wolves intelligently. I didn't even move out of flanking positions or do anything other than just smork the person who was the closest to them.
all
I
I
played
did.
them with 0 intelligence.
Yeah.
So
I built Rolgish with the intention of being on the front line, having decent con, decent dex with the focus on slightly more strength, so that my health pool and my AC would both be acceptable for what I was doing.
yeah, but
But
these guys,
none of that matters.
These guys are doing like on an actual average 18 to 19 damage, carrying the 1 persistent acid per round that they hit you, which they're almost near guaranteed to do. They are not finesse at least, so they're hitting it only +6 on their second attack, but that's not a bad chance to hit you. And if they land either, they get the auto rip and tear, which is just an action that happens automatically.
I mean, I think I should be doing more. So some of these things, this is a ranged touch spell. I can do like chill touch, which is a fortitude save. If they attempt a basic fortitude save, and then they're also enfeebled for 1 round on a critical. Well,
Are they enfeebled 1?
Enfeebled 1.
Keep in mind, there's not been a single thing that has failed a fort save against stunning blow.
Their
Yeah.
fort is +9,
I know,
so they
that's
needed
true.
an 8 to pass that. They just only made like 2 or 3 checks and happened to get them all. So enfeebled 1. If they critically fail,
Yeah.
what's the DC?
Probably her cleric DC, which is probably like.
I would
Oh yeah,
imagine-
what's your spell DC?
I would imagine your
19.
DC is 19.
19.
Yeah.
So they need a nat 1. On a
okay.
nat 1, they have -1 to attack and damage.
Ooh,
Okay.
wow.
Wow.
Like-
Okay, I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's-
Enfeebled sounds worse.
Enfeebled
plus your
is
level, not half your level.
Enfeebled
Okay.
is the new strength.
So actually, my
damage.
DC's higher.
Okay.
So
Because there's no longer core stat damage.
yeah.
Well, I had the ray of enfeeblement for the other guy, but I figured it would do more actually.
So like I feel like it's possible that Plaguestone is just a ridiculous meat grinder.
I mean,
Like-
Godsmouth Heresy was pretty rough, but we only
But that
lost
was
one
really
person
old
at the end of
schooling
that.
too. Like old school modules, ye olden tabletop was a very different beast, where everything was designed
No,
to
it should be
murder
18.
players. Is like Rapana Thuk exists.
Yeah.
Old
Rapana Thuk is
tabletop
fun.
was designed for a very different crowd, and
Well-
with no intent on characters surviving more than one session.
Let's-
that was
let's
the
ask-
ages of you bring backup character sheets.
Let's ask the chat real quick what they think about it, because like based on everything we've said so far, what do you guys think?
I could
Like,
just ask.
I want-
fucking Jason Bullman. Literally.
What were you thinking,
wrote
Jason
this.
Bullman?
Jason, what are we missing?
What
I don't
are we
understand
missing?
your intention. Help me. I'm gonna do it after this stream. I'm gonna ask Jason and be like, hey, help.
Yeah.
Why are my players dying to literally every single encounter?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like-
could have built Marn slightly more defensively with a steel shield. That would give me hardness 5 and more hit points, but
doesn't help you get hit less. It gives you 2 more damage. Off the
right,
attacks.
it gives me 2 more damage. The shield might have stuck around longer, which would let me keep it up longer. Not that they like in AC of 21, they still hit it half the time. So even then, it's not too
Well,
fairly
it's
helpful.
more than half. 55% of the time. Same intent.
Yeah.
With your shield, with a steel shield raised and another boosted dex, they still hit you 55% of the time. Like,
I mean, I could sanctuary. I could use sanctuary more.
I mean, throwing it on a frontline fighter though, it's only lasts 1 round.
If it
Effectively.
lasts one round, yeah, that's exactly. I was kind of waiting to do it.
so
Yeah, I kind of wanted to turn him on fire, but
Optimistic Weasel in chat says he's gone through the first book of Age of Ashes and it's way easier than this, so it might just be the module. It's possible. I have only glanced through the GMing.
Jason is a sadist.
I mean, it's not wrong. So this is punishment for me building all those giant cobblestone pillars in front of his house in Minecraft. So
That's exactly what he did.
I'm pretty sure when that happened, knowing I was going to run this, he made Plaguestone into a meat grinder specifically to fuck my party. So
Yeah. Well, it could be like the playtests that they had at PaizoCon, where they just blendered everybody, and then you'd have to make new characters, and then you'd have to try again. And so maybe they just want us to roll a lot of characters and
Maybe.
figure out
This
everything.
is
Intended to teach you about the system
Of how
through
to
the
build-
sheer force of how many
and
characters
this
you will
is a
play.
brief
Yeah.
module. Because there is one thing I have a possible theory about, and that is I've only glazed through the game mastering section of the core rulebook because I've been trying to learn the rules as quick as I can. And honestly, that's not where a lot of the rules I care about are when I'm running pre-written modules. But I do notice that Part 2, Ranger's Request, the first thing that happens is the Blighted Den, where you have the fight with 3 Bloodlash Bushes, which is a severe 2, and the fight with 2 Mutant Wolves, which is a severe 2. They're both severe encounters. So I'm curious what the rulebook says about severe encounters, because I feel like Plaguestone might literally just be Jason's a goddamn sadist and this is a meat grinder. Because severe to me sounds like it should not be the standard for an encounter that you
It's
run
basically
into.
designed just to have like everyone playing fighters.
Yeah,
Like,
severe does not sound default.
yeah.
We are
Let me see.
we are not a ragtag band of adventurers. We really need to be a crack group of mercenaries.
He might just want us to keep re-rolling characters to learn new characters. I don't know.
It's possible.
It's
I'm willing to
possible.
expend my hero points to have Gorham keep him alive.
Where is...
Saying he needs to
can
shed more
pull
blood
one.
before he dies.
Exactly.
what is a
I too have a
severe...
hero point that I could
That's
pull
not.
with
I don't
him.
know that this is terminology they use in the book actually, because they have in the book it's by party level. They have party level and then party level +1, party level +2, etc., etc.
But in the GMing thing, remember you were reading the GMing
Yeah, I feel like I
guide?
saw a table somewhere that referred to
It was
these
in the
things.
GM guide.
But
you were
before we
saying-
continue, I want to figure out if like I'm doing something horribly wrong, because I don't feel like every single fight is supposed to be this close to a goddamn TPK.
No, remember you were telling me that that they were saying that you should not in the GMing guide. You should not
Yeah,
have too severe.
I'm trying to find that. I swear I read
In the
that.
GM guide, you should not do this. In
That's
Plaguestone,
exactly what it was.
Do this.
That's exactly what it was. I remember him reading the GM guide, and I was like, huh.
Well, like I swear there's like an encounter difficulty table
And
somewhere.
for anybody
No,
watching, wondering-
there's just a DC table.
Yeah, I found the DC table, and I found like its player level plus and minus. It doesn't use words
So in the
like severe
creature
and moderate.
XP
Jesus
and
Christ.
roll, in the creature XP and roll
Where down?
table
What
on
table?
page 489,
489.
they mention a severe or extreme threat boss or moderate or severe extreme boss, and that gives you the creature level or the party level modifier on it.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's on the other creature and XP and roll. So let's see. Let's just read this together real quick. Building encounters. And then it has it broke down here. Okay. Trivial threat encounters are so easy the characters have essentially no chance of losing. Shouldn't even need to spend significant resources unless they're particularly wasteful. They work best as warm-ups, palate cleanses, and reminders of how awesome the characters are. Low threat encounters present a veneer of difficulty and typically use some resources. It would be rare or the result of very poor tactics for the entire party to be seriously threatened. Moderate threat encounters are a serious challenge to the characters, though unlikely to overpower them completely. Characters usually need to use sound tactics and manage their resources wisely to come out of a moderate threat encounter ready to continue on and face a harder challenge. Severe threat encounters are the hardest encounters most groups of characters can consistently defeat. These encounters are most appropriate for important moments in your story, such as confronting a final boss. Jason, what the fuck is this? What? Or walking up to a random tree to start Act 2, in which case you will fight 2 of them back to back.
Take a look at the chart in the top right of the next page.
I do see that, yes. It's so... Bad luck, poor tactics, or a lack of resources due to prior encounters can easily turn a severe threat encounter against the characters, and a wise group keeps the option to disengage open. So,
Get ready to run.
is this just supposed to be a super fucking meat grinder then? Because
Maybe.
it sounds like severes are supposed to be, if you rolled a couple bad dice, you die. And this is a severe with a 3 bloodlash, pushes immediately into a severe with the 2 wolves in the cave with added penalties because of the environment. So maybe Jason just hates us all and doesn't want us to be happy.
Maybe.
That's,
He's trying to
'Cause
teach us a
Cobblestone.
lesson
I was
about.
thinking, I built my character intelligently. Like, I didn't try to make bad choices. I intended to be a front
so what
line.
is supposed to be a normal day-to-day encounter is a moderate encounter. Like the
Mosquitoes?
lightning snake thingy in the cave up to Halode was not severe.
No, that felt perfectly fair and
The
fine.
the 4 dogs behind the
They seem
gate
fair.
was a moderate level 1 encounter.
I got murked pretty easy.
The
Bloodseekers.
blood that's what I'm trying to find. The blood seekers were a moderate level 1 encounter.
We just happened
The
to
bees
all
almost
go
killed
first.
Albers were
The
Yeah.
bees
pretty
were a
sure.
low level 1 encounter, but you're also not supposed to walk in them by yourself. They're balanced for a party. So it's extreme for you. So everyone didn't die, no, but Rogish did. Rogish died, and we very nearly TPK'd once more to the first in-session encounter of the day, and we're trying to figure out what it is we're doing wrong. So we're book perusing right now. And I'm starting to feel like what we're doing wrong is just Jason hates us and wants us to die. And it's...
It's hard to argue with, actually.
So, it is 2 back-to-back severe encounters. And as written in the XP budget guide and building encounters, severe is supposed to be wholly likely to TPK the party if they are unprepared, such as have no idea what they're fighting, or roll a couple of bad dice. So, perhaps, you rolled a fuckload of nat ones. So, to be fair, you rolled really, really bad dice. So,
We went in without knowing into a situation that gave us a direct disadvantage.
I guess
And-
don't be afraid to retreat.
Bad rolls.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's hard to get out because
Yeah.
it's all
you
difficult
had to,
terrain
and
for
you had
us.
to crawl on hands and feet to get out. The difficult term is the inside.
To be fair,
Crawl actions or move 5 foot.
who expects 2 blind dogs to TPK?
People
Wow.
who aren't aware of their stat block.
Yeah.
That's okay. So let me look forward.
I expected this to be a challenge, not a.
Let me look forward into hypothetical Listam. So the next area we're gonna go moderate, severe, moderate, high, severe.
So severes are just the norm of Fall of Plague.
And that's all meant to be in one go.
So it just seems like
Wow.
That's your next series of events that are meant to be at once. That's the peek behind the curtain. That's the progression of the Grand Blight. That's all of the things that you are supposed to deal with in sequence.
So you
in
mean
one,
come fight each one by one
one
by one by
adventure.
one?
wow.
That's
Well,
insane.
I don't have many healing spells. And you can only do the med thing once a day. On
So-
someone.
I probably should have been a primal spellcaster so I could stabilize.
I'm starting.
I mean, I can stabilize people,
to
but it
feel
doesn't
like
help if they
Jason
have
just hates
consistent.
us.
It's possible he's just got that old school flair, and he basically wants you.
It is a single module.
It's a
It
sense
is-
of pride and accomplishment.
Oh yeah.
It's not a one-off adventure by any means, but it is a module that is meant to be relatively quick. And our adventures in Plaguestone are only going on so long because, I mean, we're doing a lot of like RPing and in-character conversations, and I mean that's just how I like running games. If you ran through this, you could do this in 3 or 4 sessions easy. So
I think it would be more fair if we were a level higher to lower the severes down to highs.
but that's not how it's written for.
But
Because that's not how it works. It's a severe 2, which means it's balanced for a level 2 party, and it is severe. So it included in the difficulty of every encounter in 2nd edition is the level that it was designed for. Like that's just part of CR now because CR is always relative.
Maybe our party just sucks. Maybe we need like a better like.
We have a
group
different
of-
party now. We tried out the rogue for a sorcerer
I know.
who blew
but, like,
literally all of his first level spells.
I know. I don't know, but maybe they designed it for goblins.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn something. Because I am going to retrieve a book from this closet.
Well, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with your character. Your
Disregard
stats
the
are
man.
perfectly fine. Your
I'm
stats
good.
are
Yeah, but like
perfectly fine. You're a
as
fighter.
like they may have play tested with.
There's the other guy I dropped.
I don't
Well,
know.
you know, generally playtests are done with fighter, cleric, rogue, and
Wizard.
wizard. So
Yeah, we're not far off from that.
Yeah.
This is Hellnight Hill, the first book of Age of Ashes. I'm
He's
going
gonna
to-
open it and see 3 severes immediately.
I'm going to open it.
Open the book and close the book.
I'm going to open it and I'm going to look at it. And I'm going to see if this is standard or if Jason just fucking hates us. So let me see. The
'Cause
first.
severe basically is you may have to run away from this.
Yeah.
Like that's literally a severe encounter.
The
Is you might have to just
The
spin around
first
and book it.
encounter of the game is moderate 1. And it does not appear to have any immediate follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the acid wolves are moderate.
So let me look at let me flip to something that looks
Were
like
the
is-
acid wolves moderate or were they severe?
Acid wolves are just some shit I threw in so you wouldn't just walk in and fight only the second encounter.
What?
Well, because you're supposed to fight the blood. Wait, what acid wolves?
The
At the
ones
very
in the
beginning.
The very beginning of
Severe one, yeah.
that was the acid wolves are severe.
Yeah, severe one.
Huh.
It
I went
did
down.
almost kill someone.
did.
Yeah, I went down, and it almost
Flayed him.
So looking at the first series of things that happens in Age of Ashes, the first after getting into where there's a quote unquote dungeon crawl, we kick events off with an immediate severe, followed up by a low.
The bear was high, right?
No, the bear was. Everything went wrong for us. With
we
the
weren't
bear.
supposed
A
to fight the bear.
severe, a low, a moderate, a low, a low, a low. I don't know if you're supposed to do this all in one go. I have no idea because I haven't read the context of this at all. I'm just looking at the words that are listed.
I mean, you can probably cut through the
A
lows
moderate.
pretty decently.
A moderate. Okay, so there were 2 severes, 3 or 4 moderates, and 5 lows. I don't know if that's all meant to be done in one go, because again, I haven't read this yet. I read none of the context.
Right.
But I'm just looking, and it looks like the first major adventure of the game does also just start with a severe. So
I mean, I guess it kicks things off. So I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. I mean, severes are pretty brutal. Like it's almost like get ready to run kind of thing. It's also possible that we are getting a little gung ho. That's actually a possibility. Like if we
We handled the start of that fight really well.
You immediately got into
we
flanking.
basically immediately jumped in over our heads.
What else are you gonna do,
hauled
though?
ourselves out. I mean, I don't know.
You're in a small little cave here where you've got very little room to maneuver, and like you can't get far enough away. They can't just get to you. 2 move actions start giving you a munch.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out, because most of the point of Fall Plaguestone that we're running here is to learn the system and to learn how the fuck to run an actual play campaign, testing the equipment and whatnot. Which I'll have to look back at this and see how these new microphones are doing. But I'm hoping it is dramatically better than the old microphones. But this is also something that is very work in progress-y, because it's the first time we've sat down with them. I'm not sure where the volume should be. I'm not sure where the microphone should be. We're learning. But we're not down a person. This is a 4-person module. I always run over one. For exactly this reason, because we can still play if she's not here. Because imagine doing that shit with 3 people.
Yeah.
So
It would be one wolf and it would still kill everyone.
what I'm not getting is, and again, it might just be Fall Plaguestone because it's all we've run. Every single combat encounter is a near TPK. And anything that isn't is very much the exception, not the rule. Almost every fight is a borderline TPK.
Someone goes down in every fight.
Someone, let's say at least 2 of you go down in every single fight, and someone gets within a die roll of dying in every single fight.
Since we hit level 2. Level 1 things were a little nicer.
Level 1. Well, it's not someone die in fight 1.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
went.
sure.
I went down right away. You almost went down. I didn't go down right away, but like
Technically, I
pulled
should have
down.
died
You
a
also
couple times
opened up
already
a
for
couple
massive
of
damage.
cracks, too.
Yeah, he's died
He
like
technically should have
17
died to massive
times.
damage immediately.
Yeah.
Which is just a rule that I'm going to go back to pretending is optional and ignoring. So,
Yeah, no, it's yeah, because your light HP guys can go down super quick to massive damage.
which
unless
is
you
kind of
knock them
like, this
out.
is the point, right? Massive damage is a rule that they rolled in, and it was one of the things I looked at when we were going over the playtest document, looking through the 2nd edition rules. And I saw massive damage has been changed to you have to take double your max health in a single blow, and you die instantly. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, because you'd have to be fighting something ridiculous. You'd have to have fucked up really bad. It's not, though. That's happened to him multiple times in standard as written fights.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
things regularly hit people for more than twice their max HP.
Yeah.
As written. Like,
Yeah, no, it's pretty. It's pretty lethal. It's pretty lethal.
and sure, you had 10 con, but even if you didn't, you'd have what, 1, 2 more health?
Yeah.
Total?
Like the rogue with 10 con is not an unreasonable.
Yeah,
now
that's not
maybe
a
in
bad
melee,
build,
that's not a
like-
good place for him
But
to
I'm
be.
saying even
but
rogue with 14 con would have exactly 2 more health.
Yeah.
Like,
and still easily.
that
still-
only helps a little.
He
Yeah.
still would have died to one of those from massive damage.
He still absolutely would have been taken down instantly from full health to every single one.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think everyone's just required to have 18 con.
I think,
I think everyone's
even
required to have
that-
18 backup characters.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I'm
but
just surprised
even with
whenever
the
I.
con would still you'd still go down because then we wouldn't have
Yeah.
everything else.
yeah.
That is true.
Barbarians.
But
Here's where I'm
I
at.
just think it's kind of weird because when I did look into this book at the very beginning where it looked for classes, every single class has Constitution as a secondary.
Well, yeah, because it's health. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm serious. Every single class.
yeah, I mean, it should be secondary for everybody, especially because they took away basically all of the multi-attribute classes. Cleric kind of still has it because you have charisma for your number of heals, but I think it's literally just you. Every other class has everything they do determined off of a single stat. Like even wizards, their DCs and their attack rolls are off intelligence now. But con is health for everyone. So this is a new system that we are testing, and reading through the rules and the classes and the character building and everything, I really love how 2nd edition works.
On paper.
It's the math that I'm not understanding.
Well, I mean, it's also possible that these are just particularly lethal encounters. Like it just seems to be
Like
like
they are called severe. Like they
they
know
label
they're
them
severe.
appropriately.
Yeah.
They're labeled appropriately, and maybe it is just that this adventure is meant to be a total meat grinder. But
I mean, they have them in severe, and they're like, don't put 2 severes in a row. Well, they did, so clearly they kind of expect people to die. Can you imagine doing both at the same time? Well,
I can
they
see the guy
planned
writing it is kind of like the rules. Rules made to be broken. This starts.
I mean, knowing Jason,
He
Bowman-
wrote the rules. Of course he's gonna
Yeah,
break
he
them.
also he wrote the rules. I mean, knowing Jason Bowman,
There he is.
second billing on the core rulebook itself, he is fully aware of what the rules say, and he does apparently just like inflicting sadness, suffering, and hour-long discussions of what the hell are we doing wrong in the middle of our learning second edition streams.
I even had orc ferocity that I blew in that fight, on top of everything else.
Which, to be fair, is 100% why you're dead, which is classic orc ferocity.
Well, it's
but,
not 100% of why I'm dead.
It basically got you an extra point of wounded. Like
I
you,
guess at that point you had
I was already stacked with the.
you already had the persistent damage on you.
I would have just died next round instead of.
No, because it gets you wounded faster. So the other interesting thing I'm learning about the dying rolls, when you go down and you don't have any wounded, you want to be on the ground as long as possible before you get back up, because you want to maximize how many rounds you have before you gain a wounded. So you got a wounded instantly around early. So that did kill you around earlier. Because if you went down and then bled to dying 2 and then got back up, you wouldn't have been at wounded 1 until like 2 rounds later. You were at wounded 1 immediately.
And
Which always adds into your dying.
Stabilize is actually really iffy.
Stabilize kills people.
Yeah, you really don't want to use stabilize at all unless they don't have bleed or like some kind of persistent damage.
It also, the thing that keeps killing characters 2 for 2 is persistent damage. So
Yeah.
it might just be particularly deadly. It might also just be something we don't know how to deal with. But we can figure this out. I'm serious. I am, just because the whole point is I want to learn and I want to get past the total meat grinding before we get into Age of Ashes. Because I wanted to have like a War for the Crown, Strange Aeons. You guys know I run long form campaigns. I like building characters and having arcs and stuff. And if a character dies every session, we don't really have character arcs. We're just playing a board game
yeah.
and making silly voices at that point. So I'm gonna ask Jason after stream and see if there's anything he can point out to us that we're doing fucking wrong. But for now,
Oh look, weird. No.
in the aftermath of this battle, again, this is just the learner. I'm not particularly married to doing this. If you want Rolgeesh to just stand up, I don't care.
Can he stand up as a barbarian with 18 con?
If you want him to die and you bring another character sheet next week and you want to play a barbarian with 18 con,
It's fine. Marn will bury 2 friends in as many days.
Oh no, look. Oh, look at all
I would like to keep doing the voice. I am enjoying the voice.
you like
I like
Rolgeesh?
Rolgeesh. Rolgeesh is cool.
Okay. Fair enough. So we will, for now, have Rolgeesh just go ahead and...
Oh, look.
Look at this! He's alive!
Chest compressions, man. I've just been doing them for like an hour.
What seems like an hour of out-of-body experience while Rolgeesh contemplates the situation leading to his death.
He got slapped and is now back with us.
He comes to in a miracle recovery. Because again, the point here is to learn and experiment. So I'm totally okay with just hand waving a death here and there. Not a major concern of mine at this particular junction. So, after some very brutal attacks with some incredibly mutated wolves, the 4 of you find yourselves at least conscious. And we'll go ahead and just say Marn and whoever take some time to...
I
Yeah,
had an
we'll need
extra
it.
heal for sure.
You have another heal?
No.
Oh,
But-
sure. You totally do, though. Yeah, you've got another heal. Yeah, she has another heal, and she casts, and it heals everyone for 11. Cool, all right. That is weird rolling a D8,
weird,
but we'll
yeah.
take it.
Okay,
So,
that'll be
Everyone's at full.
everyone's at full health? Weird! All right, so everyone's at full health. Look at that.
We can go do that.
You killed those wolves so hard that everyone's at full health, and she healed off your wounded condition. What a champion Adelpha is
That
What's
wasn't
this?
a heal. That was a blessing of
truly
Saren, right?
direct
That was-
divine
What's this
intervention
tincture
from the
in Ellery's
goddess of
satchel?
healing herself.
Ultimate panacea?
Saren Ray bestows her blessings upon you directly, and the cave glows with a holy light for a moment before everyone is just healed to full and has no indication. So, you,
So can we look at this?
yes, you are now left in this cave and free to investigate whatever the hell this glowing
Mountain Dew, yeah.
pool of Mountain Dew is.
Radioactive.
Can I know
Mountain Dew. Oh
So,
boy.
Yeah, can we
you
look?
This is
Everyone
Yeah.
takes persistent damage. And
You can make me either a crafting, nature, or occult check to attempt to
I can do
investigate the
crafting.
pool. Those are the various knowledges you'll need.
12.
The 12, you can't really tell. It's
Yeah.
such a peculiar source of whatever this water is.
It's 17 of
The
nature.
The 17, it gives off a very offensively and aggressively acrid smell, near burning your nostrils. Just from being near the thing. Now you have a moment to focus. It's almost physically painful just to stand near it, and whatever its source, it does not seem to be.
And I am safely
Mundane.
oblivious.
Anybody else crafting nature or occult?
Nope.
10. Crafting.
I'm not trained in any of
We'll
those.
just roll a d20 anyway, and we'll say it's a crafting check.
Sure.
What's your int?
My int is a 1 plus 1, so that's 16.
16. So you were the only one who hit the DC.
How is it 17?
It's a 20 if you use nature or occult. It's a 15 if you use
okay.
crafting. It's Marn,
Crafting.
blissfully oblivious, he says. Marn, the only one who actually really puts together what this is. This was a natural pool of water that has formed underneath this tree, ways underground in this cave underneath the root system, but it has been tainted by something wholly unnatural.
Okay.
That's what I get.
This is not anything like whatever the center of this blight, this pool, whatever the source is. It's not something that just happened. This isn't like a disease or a sickness that has just appeared. Something unnatural.
Something was planted here.
Something afflicted this pool. It's not something that would just develop organically.
So,
Can I burn it?
It is not flammable. It is still water. It's just like a tainted, acrid water.
So this actually, this sheen, this color, this doesn't look. This looks like
It looks
like a
visibly almost oily.
refined, like something that you would make or brew. Like I've seen oil and perfumes and manufactured things this color. Like this is something that
Like
doesn't occur naturally.
like alchemical or
I don't know. I don't remember. But it's definitely not something that just happens or shows up. Someone or something did this. I'm going to poke around in the... I'm going to take out the silver rapier I have, and I'm just going to poke around in
I'm
the...
gonna take out the most expensive weapon I have.
Well, it's the one that I will miss the least should it dissolve. And
It's just a funny situation.
Marn has priorities,
Yeah.
and that's where the
Useful
silver rapier...
sword, silver-plated fancy rapier.
Well, it's more like sword that I use, but also is my identity, effectively.
Fair. Barn priorities. But you stir around a bit in the water with these silvered rapier, and it forms bubbles, almost like carbonation, on the outside of the blade as it stirs around. And as you pull it out, it clings to the rapier a bit as it's withdrawn. A very strange, oily film left on the blade as you pull it away.
I didn't put the sword I cared about in there.
yeah.
I'm gonna touch it with my stick.
You touch it with your stick, you would have the same results as touching it with a rapier.
I thought wood might have a different result.
It does not, no.
Well, I'm not sticking my hand in it.
What if we threw the dogs in?
I think they've already been in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they drunk it.
Well,
Eh,
I don't know.
Can I see if
I'm
I can
gonna
freeze
kick
the
'em.
water?
With what?
Ray of Frost.
The ray of frost. You can absolutely fire a ray of frost into the body of water here. It's just a cantrip, so it's not
Yeah.
particularly powerful. It's not like it's just not strong or cold enough to freeze.
Yeah, I just
the
want to
whole
see
thing
if
of
it
But
has like antifreeze property or it doesn't freeze.
but it absolutely will, as you shoot it, form a tiny little bit of ice on the water's surface before that quickly thaws and melts away back into the pool.
Maybe now that we've made it relatively safe for Noala, might have an idea.
Oh yeah.
Well,
maybe.
it's not. I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't burn, it doesn't totally freeze, so
Well, let's try.
let's go see. Let's go get her in here.
So you make your way back out of the. Hold on, where is this thing I'm looking for? Sirenscape. Render unto me your bounty. There it is. As you make your way out of the tree and back out into the clearing, you would see Noala in the center where you had slain the one wolf, with that and two more piled on a bonfire she has built here. On the other side of the clearing, a safe distance from the trees, but burning away more of the bodies. As she turns and sees the four of you amazingly intact and entirely unharmed,
Yeah, weird.
actually.
But very filthy.
She smiles a little that this had gone so much better than the previous adventure, without so much as a scratch being suffered by the party.
Except for his shield is still broken.
Oh, except your shield. is
Yeah, my
broken.
shield's in.
Well, the blessing of Serenray magically repaired.
Yes.
Gosh, yeah.
Samurai.
Marn's burying two friends. Noala has sent two people to their deaths on her damn fool adventure. Yeah.
So she waves you over, and as you approach, points to the pile. I found the one that you left behind, and a few more ran into the snares flushed out when you entered the whatever there is underneath that tree. What'd you find?
Do
Wow.
these look exploded like the one that we...
No, there are two more, not quite so far gone as the two you'd find underneath, but largely hairless wolves with just little patches of fur. Not quite as
You might want to
swollen.
take a look at it down there because I don't know what happened to those things.
There's two more wolves down there that were monstrously mutated. They were very difficult to put down. But there was also a pool that seems to have been tainted with something. It definitely doesn't look natural. It looks like it's the kind of sheen you would get from refined oil or chemical. Maybe you could take a look at it.
Of course. Well, if the area's been cleared out.
It's been
let's-
cleared out. There is the body of one particularly large wolf down there. It wasn't active. It had been dead for some time, but I don't know. Maybe there's something we can find on it.
And she will follow you back down underneath into the cavern,
Mhm.
crawling along with you to where the three bodies of the wolves now lay, and the pool of water. As she enters, she looks over the two hairless beasts and towards the water itself, before looking around, just pulling off a limp bit of root and just dipping it in and pulling it out to see what would happen. And as she looks at it, she lays it down and reaches down just with a couple fingers and just gingerly touches in the water and pulls it out and feels it a bit between her fingers. It's not dangerous. Whatever has happened to this pool, it's diluted by the size of the source. It's not potent enough to pose any real threat, but I've no idea what it is, and I agree it's certainly not natural.
I would suggest maybe if you don't know what it is, maybe don't dip your hand in it. Because I mean, you only have one real hand left, and I feel like that's a bit dangerous.
She grimaces a bit. I was fairly certain that it would
Oh, okay.
be
Try to clean that
fine,
rapier off with something.
but
A wolf corpse, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know.
this pool that's grown here under the trees, and she kind of leans over trying to peer into it. This looks like a natural spring. It's welling up from deep underground, under the dirt.
I wish I would have learned air bubble.
But I don't know of any cave systems or anything nearby to even add something like this in the water.
Well, there's some cave systems nearby. We've gone through one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was,
mention that.
Well, none with any significant source of water that I know of that could possibly feed into this.
it wasn't that significant. There was a pool in it that was big enough to hold a fairly impressive serpent, which had been peculiarly modified to shoot lightning.
Odd, indeed, but was the water similarly contaminated?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
I must say, well, I'm certain this is the cause of these bloods, whatever this is, but we're no closer to knowing the source.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of to do, the only way I can even imagine to proceed is to head deeper into the forest. The Great Scar, the original blight.
This spring, this tainted water, this water is tainted as it comes up, so it doesn't appear to have been tainted here. It seems to just be...
That I can't really tell. But the water that formed this pool, as it bubbled up from deep below, seeping up through the soft earth beneath this tree and pulled up by the roots searching life, the existence of a tree so large consumes an impressive amount of water for an immovable object. It would filter through the water in a pool like this over the course of a few days or at worst weeks. If someone were to hypothetically come add whatever the substances is to this water, it would have been processed through, filtered, and gone by then. But this has been here months, and the Great Blight there years, near a decade.
So...
I can't imagine
Do we need to burn this tree?
It won't solve the problem.
this isn't the source. But this pool and perhaps its connections to the deep underground are the source of this particular blight. But again, this doesn't help us.
Where is this great blight? How far away?
It'd be easily a full day's journey.
Then we probably should rest.
If we leave at sunrise and we make haste, we can arrive with light left, but precious little.
We could maybe ask the people at camp if we could borrow their horses.
There's no trails for them to follow.
Oh.
If anything, they'd only slow us down. This is deeper, further to the north and further into the heart of the forest itself. And this blight is massive, this one far larger than any of the others. I've been watching its growth, monitoring it over the years, but powerless to stop its expanse. I know from circumvention that it spreads at least a mile across. I've never been further than a few dozen yards inside inside its edges at any given time. The predators that lurk there are far more ferocious than those I encountered anywhere near here.
Well, we barely survived the encounter here,
Didn't
although we
you
had
have-
remarkable luck down below.
Sarah and Ray.
You're in such good shape.
Yeah, we were blessed.
Well, it may bear looking at. Perhaps we could learn something, I suppose.
I don't know if we can do anything without our mighty hero, Filippo.
Who's Filippo?
Oh,
I would
you'll love him. He's amazing.
I would very certainly advise that you gather as much strength as you can before we make this journey. So,
Definitely.
if that other dwarven friend of yours would follow with us,
Ah, another dwarf.
his help would surely be appreciated as well. We'll follow much the same strategy, though I can't trap the whole outside of this blight. It's far too large. But I can hopefully set up somewhere for you to relatively safely fall back should you need to.
Well, if it's this large and the animals are that dangerous, you probably will have to use that.
You will be venturing much deeper inside. Passing through the blight itself is slow going. You'll be beyond help should something happen. I have no...
Who could help us at any rate? The people of Veterans Folly are not equipped for this.
I have no idea what lies at the center at this point. But
Well, we have no idea what lay at the center of this one.
at least I'd known of the great tree, but I've never been anywhere near the heart of this. I would hope it's a similar situation, for if nothing else, that will at least give us consistency, something to understand, something to begin to put together, but ideally something more.
Well,
If
the water seems to be the key. It seems to be the only thing here that seems to be a source of anything. So perhaps we'll be able to find a linkage that way.
the Great Scar is positioned over no lake or pond that I know of. In fact, it's quite far off many rivers. So I don't know if any water it would have access to, but
Well, there must be
perhaps a
some
cave.
water source, or there probably wouldn't be trees there.
Well, there are, but none within the Blight itself.
Hmm.
There may be caves. There may be water underground, perhaps. As I don't know of any. It's a full day's journey. It's miles from here.
It's always underground.
I don't know. I don't know how to advise you, but I would prepare as well as you can. Whatever you faced here, you'll find tenfold in the Great Scar.
Well,
We could return to town and try to gather as much strength as possible, and prepare for the journey, I suppose.
And the journey back through the woods into town is still going to take you.
3 hours.
Yeah, it's going to take you most of the rest of the afternoon at this point.
I'll be asking who this Filippo dwarf is.
And you guys could explain.
I can really go on and on about this
You could
lovely dwarf.
You could literally go on for 3 straight hours, too, Shalario, about who exactly Filippo is and why he is so great and mighty, telling the tales of his heroic defeat of Halode, saving
And he's
not.
just really a
Seem pretty
gentleman.
infatuated with this Filippo.
Well, he's a gentleman. I mean, who wouldn't be at this point?
But you would arrive with a few hours left in the day, back at Etrin's Folly,
Which
and
reminds me, need to burn Elrith.
back to.
All right, we can do that.
Well, yeah, you whatever it is you want to do with the rest of your time. You could spend much of the rest of the afternoon exhuming Elrid's body and giving him the proper Serenite funeral, burning him away as his fiancée wishes. And is there anything you want to do for gathering supplies?
Well, if we need turnips, they've got us covered.
Beyond that, I don't know if there's much you can be able to access. I mean, like common adventuring gear is available, and weapons and armor, but not much else.
I mean, we have. If there's armor, do they may I get a replacement shield?
So you can definitely repair your shield. That is, as long as it's not utterly destroyed.
It has 1 hit point left.
Then that's not utterly destroyed.
Yup.
That's a thing that you can do.
The buckles and straps are still there. We just need to rivet it onto a new piece of wood, I think.
I have to double check because I know this is under crafting somewhere. It's part of the crafting skill.
May I hire someone to do it for me?
Repair. Here it is. It's even it's an untrained action actually.
Oh, that's lovely. May I still hire?
So to repair, it's one of the things you can do with a 10-minute rest.
Okay.
With a 10-minute rest, you can attempt to fix a damaged item. You have to stay in place, put it on a stable surface, and you need a repair kit. So a repair,
Luckily, there's some woodworking tools right in the caravan.
There is.
a repair kit is absolutely something you could acquire to bring with you as well. Okay, let me see what bulk this is. Reading what a repair kit is. A repair kit is 2 gold and 1 bulk. And that'd be something you can definitely buy in town. And using a shield, you're definitely going to want to have one on your person if you can spare the bulk.
All right.
Is it just a craft check?
It is a portable anvil, tongs, woodworking tools, a whetstone, and oils for conditioning leather and wood. And you can also acquire a superb repair
You are
kit.
actually just carrying around an anvil.
Like a little.
It's a small portable anvil, yeah. It's like a little piece of iron. So it's an
Something you can back rivet.
yeah. It is an
handling,
untrained action that anyone can attempt. You have to use the repair kit, and it's the same DC to repair an item as it is to craft it in the first place. And the crafting DC is, let's see, Where is it? Oh, it's just the, it's a DC based on DCs by level. Okay, so it would be for just a mundane shield.
Level
like
1.
DC 15.
DC 15?
Yeah, but
So-
there's if you succeed, it gets 5 hit points restored, plus 5 for every proficiency rank. So if you're trained, you literally double how much you're repairing it. So
So with that 2 gold though, could you just buy?
you could also just buy a new
shield?
shield. I would say you could just buy a new
I mean, I
shield.
think I could buy a new shield for a lot. I could probably buy a new shield and some backup shields.
This is investing.
Back in ye olden playtest, it was the meta to carry like 5 shields to just keep pulling them out, but that was back when dance existed and before you could repair things with 10 minutes. But for future reference, if you want to be a character who uses a shield, you probably should be trained in crafting. Now we know this is a thing, and this kind of shit is exactly why we're doing Fall of Plaguestone.
Well, 2 gold is actually a lot for a fighter to spend because you have to
Yeah.
buy so much other stuff to get to
Yeah.
work.
That is true.
So it
Anyone
worked
could
better if
just have
someone
it.
But
else.
at least you
had
actually
one.
have gold this time.
You could use a repair kit on so much
Yeah,
more than
actually
just
have
a
the cash.
shield.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
the repair
cash
kit
too.
costs nothing. You can repair a shield infinitely unless it is completely destroyed. It's like all the other kits, it is not expendable, so you can just keep doing it.
And you
So-
can just make a new shield if it happens to get destroyed.
Yeah, and that you can also do that for half price. And let me see.
The
where-
repair kit is an investment in efficiency.
Are you good at crafting?
Yes.
Okay.
So am I.
I mean, yeah, your wooden shield was a gold already, and the steel is 2 gold.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's fine.
yeah, the repair kit is the cost of a steel shield. Anyway, if you succeed, you heal it for 5 plus proficiency rank. If you critically succeed, you
I'm
heal
also
it for
trained in crafting.
10 plus 10 per proficiency rank.
Crafting is also how you make your money in downtime, so most people are typically
yeah, I
gonna
guess.
Yep, that is also a
important.
downtime earn income activity. And if you critically fail, you deal 2d6 damage to the item, but it does at least get its hardness against that. So that's there.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Which critically fail is a 5 or lower. So
That would have did it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're repairing, he'd repair it.
Are you trained in crafting?
Yes,
What'd
I
you
am.
get
16
total?
total.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have been able to repair 10 hit points to it.
Boom. Yeah,
and
that.
with literally 10, because your wooden shield's a piece of shit. And with literally 10 minutes of work,
He has
you
a
can
little
almost
staple gun.
fully
Ka-ching,
repair
ka-ching,
it.
ka-ching.
Basically.
So a wooden
Couple of
shield is
saplings.
It's just
Laid across
another
the
piece
front.
of wood and just
Yeah.
hammer.
Yep.
It's like you're lucky I always had these tools here.
Yeah, it is a little dumpster.
Yeah,
But-
so I will go ahead and can get a repair kit for the party. Conceivably, someone else might need a repair kit for something.
I'll
Yeah.
need it for my knuckles, I guess.
One of the things I want to do,
It's called the healing kit.
and I got distracted by doing things like setting up the bit boss and everything today before and not actually doing everything I wanted to do setup wise and doing all of this stuff with the table and the microphones. I want to go through and I want to make a couple of reference lists, particularly things you can do with a third action and things you can do with a 10-minute rest. Because for some reason, a 10-minute rest is not like a thing. There's clearly 50 jillion things
Yeah, I
that
can get
take
my focus
exactly
points
10
back,
minutes
yeah.
to do. But there's no section, like there's exploration activities and there's downtime activities. There's no section that's like things that you do with a 10-minute break. Because clearly this is a mechanic, but
Yeah.
it's just not spelled out anywhere that I've found yet.
I could switch a focus spell.
Yeah, you get focus points back, you can
Yeah,
switch a focus
refocus,
spell, you can
and-
repair things,
Heal
you
things.
can use a medicine check. Like there's a lot of stuff that takes exactly a 10-minute rest to do, and I sort of want to look up what all that stuff is. So, we're back in town, you exhume Elrith, and with Adelpha's help, you burn his body with the Serenite / Elven funeral that his kin wanted. You go into the feed mill, which is now back and functioning again. Farmers gathering around for their porridge and their turnip ale. Watery garbage that it may be, it's what Entrance Folly has.
Good
And-
old turnip ale.
Delma,
You guys had to survive on this?
It's been very rough.
of the things that you could definitely find
I should
here
have bought some wine.
in a rundown, shitty town, a repair kit is certainly one of them. So you're able to pay 2 gold and acquire a repair kit for the party pretty easily. So, is there anything else you want to do with the evening other than rope Filippo into a grand new adventure?
Burn the body.
That's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's what they would be working on. You could be there as well
Yeah.
if you wanted.
I mean, like, that would take a while.
And Filippo would be, that's the thing. I mean, like, is there anything you wanted to accomplish before we move on? Because I think it's like 10:45, but I feel like this is a solid stopping point. Because I really feel like there is knowledge I am lacking, and I need to talk to somebody who knows more about second edition than me running my first adventure to figure out if this is intended or like what we're doing wrong. And before we head out on our journey to the Grand Scar,
And immediately die.
probably grab Filippo.
Yeah.
So grabbing Filippo sounds like a good idea.
Yes,
So
that's definitely a good idea.
I
We
need the
will-
energy of Filippo.
need Filippo's motivation.
Mm-hmm.
We will cease here for the evening and regather next week with probably everybody
Yes, we should. We should have everybody.
so that we can continue on to the Great Scar. And I will tell you guys to commence your planning for your third level adventures.
And our next set of characters.
And possibly backup characters. I mean, it's a good thing that Denny had a backup character, like he has a plan for that. Maybe you also
Most
have plans for
elaborate
that.
plan
Maybe
ever.
it was a great plan for that. Maybe you also have your own plans for a possible backup character in case of instantaneous death syndrome. And thank you to all of you being here, of course, while we're learning, testing, and just trying to get everything off the ground here. We will see you all next week, and I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST, streaming, I don't know, World of Warcraft. Fuck if I know, because this is just the Friday waiting room for the 27 games that come out this Friday that I want to stream.
Stream. Sit down and talk time with Jason and ask him what the hell he was thinking.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Bye.